He hears you.
I can hear him. We're good.
I hear him a little less than I hear you.
Spurge, you got me? Look at that. Sounds good. Oh, good morning,
Hello, Claudia.
Hello
Good
there.
morning. From Rio Salado Parkway at Westwood High School, it is time for the Mesa Public Schools Football Spring Showcase. Glad to have you along for the ride here with Sports 360 AZ and the Relay Art production crew. Devin Henry alongside Cody Cameron will be joined throughout the day by athletic directors and coaches downstairs with Eliav Gabai, and also in our studio with Claudia Collins and Jordan Spurgeon. But most importantly, college recruiters swarming here at Westwood High School, Cody. And for these students right here, it's an opportunity for them here in springtime to go out, get exposure, and showcase exactly what they can do, try to grab themselves some offers or at least some spotlight before we hit the 2026 season.
Yeah, Devin, and this is what makes the state of Arizona so special, is we provide opportunities for the student athletes for exactly like this. Huge shout out to Mesa Public Schools, huge shout out to Westwood. You have 3 teams right now in an hour and a half block. The next 3 after. It's going to be awesome, and really, you said it perfect. It's going to create opportunities for some of these players.
And we'll get down to the field here in just a moment, but first let's head down to the studio with Jordan Spurgeon and Claudia Collins, the current Westwood High School athletic director, soon to move into the role as the head athletic director at Mesa Public Schools, Brady Pond.
Awesome, Devin. Great intro there, and you said it. So, Brady, thank you so much for joining us today. And we were talking a little bit off air. Right now, you're the current athletic director here. You'll be transitioning to the role as district AD come summertime. So you're really not busy at all right now, right?
No, I have lots of free time, just, hanging out.
Hey, well, I want to get a little bit more insight on coming into this role, why it felt like the good fit for you, and, give everybody your qualifications. We know them.
Yeah, so, no, I just felt like it was the right time to make this move. I've obviously, spent some time. I've been 7 years here at Westwood, and seeing the inner workings of the district, working with Tommy Eubanks, I just felt like it was a good next step in my career. So I feel like being a part of the district as long as I have, I've been able to kind of see what's going on and keep building off the things that we've started here.
I mean, you're not kidding, because one thing I love about the Mesa district is just things get done. I mean, even this room, we were in it last year. It's completely remodeled. I know every single school has gone through weight room remodels and fields and all these things. So a lot of money and resources has been poured into athletics, within the district. Just how excited are you to sort of be there to sort of take on the next chapter and continue to push things and push boundaries?
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. I think that the things that we've been able to accomplish through the support from our district, the support through various grants, the community, all the fundraising and the different aspects. I think that it's just exciting because we do want to elevate Mesa Public Schools athletics, and we do want to be, somewhere where people, a destination. We have the coaches, we have the programs now. Our facilities are starting to match that, and so I think that that's one of the biggest things that you can take away is, we're going to get some stuff done, and we're going to have these top-notch facilities, and hopefully attract the kids to come here.
The coaches, the programs, how important is events like this, showcases like this for your district and for your players?
I think it's super important. I mean, I would put up our 6 high school head coaches up against any district in the state. I mean, we have some incredible coaches all over this district, and I think, as a father of a player, I mean, that's important to me. I think that we pick a lot of the times coaches more than we pick programs. And I think we do have some excellent programs, some programs on the rise, some programs that are doing a reset, but we have lots of cool things. And I think that for this type of event, it just goes to show you, this is our 3rd year doing this. We're going to give opportunities for our kids to be seen, and there's lots of coaches already out there. They're drinking their coffee and eating their donuts and hopefully seeing some great talent.
Yeah, provided by you and Westwood too. We were out there. There's a whole array of food and snacks and drinks and things like that. So it really is top notch. But just seeing, the way that the coaches have embraced events like this and working together, I see a lot of them chatting together and kind of picking each other's brains before things even start as they're getting ready with their teams. Just seeing that camaraderie is again, you continue to look forward to moving into this role, kind of being in charge of them and making sure things run smoothly. What's that like for you?
And that's important, especially in today's college athletics, is those relationships that you can build with coaches. Our coaches, Brandon Large coordinates the majority of this event, and he has great relationships with coaches. I know all the coaches in our district have great relationships, and that to me just opens up opportunities for our kids, because when our coaches are going to these college coaches and saying, hey, I have a dude for you to look at, they know that they're not lying to them. They have that credibility, they have that relationship. So we are able to get kids to that next level because we have that credibility and that relationship.
Speaking of relationships, now that you are coming into this role where you're overseeing all these coaches, give us the inner workings. Like, how close are these coaches across programs? I
mean, they're pretty close in a sense, but they're also, the friendly rivals.
Yeah, as they should be.
They should be. Like, I can shake your hand on Saturday, but on Friday I want to beat you. So, I think that it is good to have those relationships, and I've been able to, see that transition in our district over the past 6 or 7 years, where before it was kind of every man for themselves. We've done a good job of kind of creating this synergy within our district where our coaches are not feeling like they're on an island. They can go and say, hey, Coach Litton, what are you doing that's working? Or, hey, Coach Newcomb at Dobson, what are you doing that's working? And they can feed off of each other, but at the end of the day, they're also, wanting to get better.
I'm so surprised you're talking about rivalries. Kyle Edwards definitely does not have any rivalries with anybody.
Never.
That never happens over there at Red Mountain. Well, awesome, Brady. Well, good luck in your new role. We appreciate all you're doing.
Yep.
And thank you so
here.
much for taking the time to join us. I know right now down on the field we've got Dobson, Red Mountain, and Kyle Enders, and, of course, Westwood down there right now. So we'll kick it back up to the booth with Devin and Cody as we see some of the action out there on the field, guys.
Thank you, Spurs. Thank you, Claudia. And we'll see a lot more Brady Pond here in the future, I believe. But when you look out here on the field, we got some offensive drills here. Here on the right, we got some receiving drills on the left. You get this here, that there. But I'm always curious, Cody, for something like this. We have a dozen plus, and it's going to grow, college recruiters out here right now. But this is practice drills. So as an athlete, are you going down on this field today? Are you going, this is another practice for me. I give my own practice. I practice how I play. Or are you thinking? Are you going, I'm here, there's 2 other schools here, recruiters can look anywhere, you're trying to practice maybe a little bit different, or is it the same old, just another day?
One, it's not another day, absolutely not, right? Because there's not every day where you're practicing in front of double-digit college coaches who, once again, we talked about in the open, right, Devin? It's creating opportunity for yourself, your teammates, your players. But I view the showcase as really you're preparing for something like this when last season ends. And Mesa Public Schools, all the schools in this district, they do a really, really good job of attacking the offseason. I'm going to say that a ton because when you look at right now, what's the date right now? May 6th, right? From the moment that season ended last season, November, for a lot of these teams, middle of November, maybe later November, they attack the weight room. What this showcases to me, Devin, is, hey, proving to yourself, maybe some of these college coaches were on you, the previous fall when you're a junior or sophomore on varsity. They wanted to see how you grew. They want to see how much faster you got, right? Because they are recruiting players that take those things seriously. On the flip side, they want to see if your grades improved. Have your grades maintained the same if you're a 4.0 student, or have they dropped? A lot of those situations, right, if you didn't get bigger, if you didn't get faster, if your grades did not improve, they're going to drop you. So a situation like this, for me, it's proving to a lot of these people and kind of showing college coaches and your teammates and your current coaching staff that, hey, I improved in these areas. Out here, I'm showing you how much bigger I got, how much faster I got. So you're taking this 100% seriously, especially if you want to be a college athlete. So that's why, to me, and having the opportunity to do so in person instead of a social media post, instead of maybe an email or something like that, is huge for their recruitment.
And here at Sports 360 AZ, obviously we have our all-academic team that we run for every single sport, every single season. And the thing with it, though, is that I feel like it's almost like when a parent is telling you, hey, don't do this, don't do that, right? When a coach or mom and dad says, you need to keep your grades up because you need that for college. Well, in this world of NIL, sometimes it feels like I don't need the grades. I just need the talent. As long as I go out there and I'm the best guy on the field, I could have a 1.0 GPA. It doesn't matter.
That could be.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter, Cody, to have that GPA up?
I almost had to cut you off there because I was so disgusted by that comment.
Almost got a fight in the booth within the first 10 minutes of the broadcast.
No, just from the words. It's so,
but some kids believe that, right?
100% they do, and it's so far from the truth. We're going to talk to numerous college coaches today with interviews, and you're going to hear every single one of them talk about grades. And here's why, Devin. So, yeah, maybe 10 to 15, 20 years ago, there were kids that barely qualified with the 2.0 that could still go into school because they were ultra talented. In today's realm, where high school recruiting is already really, really tough, and college coaches are looking for that college transfer with the transfer portal right now. Because why? Because instead of recruiting a 17-year-old, they can get a 19 or 20-year-old who's already been in a college weight room, who understands a college classroom, who understands the college environment, who still has 3 to 4 years to play. That's the reality right now. They are not going to waste a roster spot or a scholarship spot for a kid who cannot get it done in the classroom. They will find the same player as you who has better grades. Point blank, plain and simple, they will find another you anywhere. And so when you talk about separators, you're going to hear me talk about what can separate you in recruiting. Grades is in bold with 15 exclamation points. 100%. Grades will separate you. Speed will separate you. Arizona's got a ton of good speed. We do a great job of having our athletes become multiple sport athletes. But also the fact is, once again, there's still other states and other talent where you can find kids with speed. So the separators are your grades. The higher GPA you get. Plus, we're going to talk about fits. Very, very small percentage of players, Devin, go to Division I. Okay, most of these guys are going D2, D3, NAIA, which is great. If you get an NAIA offer, a D3 offer, you have been labeled as a top football player in the state, 100% if you get a college opportunity. The thing is, though, those D3 schools, they cost a lot of money, a lot of money. But if the better grades you get, the more academic tuition and academic tuition help you're going to get. So grades are massively important.
Looking at our hosts today, the Westwood Warriors, part of the 6A Conference Southern Region under head coach Brandon Large. Taking a look at some warm-ups here from quarterback Gavin Gleave, the 2028 product. Currently, as you talk about, 3.43 GPA as told by head coach Brandon Large to us. And a program with 3 state championships back in 1964, 1988, and their most recent state championship game appearance, 2000. Now, a 4-6 season is anything to brag too much about, but this program is still on the rise. You look back at last year, able to fight their way forward, have a 4-6 season. Their last state tournament appearance, 2014. Last year was their first state championship appearance in 11 years, and now looking for that next step. Their first state championship game or tournament win, that last game in 2007 against Mountain Ridge, but you have it in the viewfinder now. You know that you can get there. Now what is that next step for them to move forward?
I think it's all about momentum. So when you look at Coach Large, and I'm going to talk about this quite a few times because there's so many of them here, alum of the school. So his care for the program is immense. There will not be another football player that on this team that probably cares about Westwood High School more so than Brandon Large. Brandon Large, he's community-based. He loves his kids too. And I think his players now have really kind of have molded that identity, right? And so when I look at Westwood and I talk about momentum, their schedule last year, yeah, you see 4-6. But, Devin, they played Basha, Perry, Mesa High School, who we're going to see here in a couple, an hour, loaded with D1 talent. They played South Point, and I think 2 years ago, I'm going to call it what it is. I think when you look at a matchup like that, you say, hey, Westwood's going to go in there probably as a 3 to 4 touchdown underdog. That's what it would have been 2 years ago. Last year, they took the Lancers to the ringer down in Tucson. And if you talk to every head football coach in the state of Arizona that's in Phoenix, they hate going down and playing South Point in Tucson for a ton of factors. They go down there, and they probably could have won the game. Putting 30 on South Point, that game was a 34-30 game. A couple of things go a different way. Westwood comes out with the victory, probably one of their biggest victories in Brandon Large's tenure at Westwood. So I look at the trajectory of this program. They put out a kid locally to ASU last year, Sine Tinge, one of their defensive linemen. His little brother now is on the team at Westwood. They have a Division I commit at running back, Keyshawn Barkus. He's verbally committed to University of Nevada. So momentum with the school. They're getting kids recruited. They're taking care of business in the classroom. You're going to see a ton of their kids have 3.0 plus GPAs. I have never seen Westwood this public out in the feature of, hey, look at what you can come to Westwood. You can get recruited. You can get great education, and the facilities are amazing. And a lot of that is credit to Brandon Large.
A couple of receivers right now going through their routes. Bassett Ward, another one of these guys with a high GPA, 3.77, started every game at wide receiver last year for the Warriors. Alongside him, Ben Atwood at 6'1", a 4.25 GPA going into his junior season next year, was all region and led the team in receiving as just a sophomore as well. So there's weapons over here too to go along with the offense. We saw earlier Gavin Gleave. Very talented young quarterback that Coach Large is looking forward to seeing as he comes back in for his junior season. And then don't have a name on number 7 out there, but taking a look right now at Gavin Gleave. And this quarterback right here with his weapons that he's going to have, this is an offense that is growing.
Yeah, and they've had some transfers come in as well that will be plug-and-play players come week 6. And once again, I made the comment right before you said I've never seen Westwood this public in terms of doing a bunch of things. Folks, I've only been here since 2018, so I know Westwood. I can see the banners, early 2000s. You go, oh, man, he has no idea about Westwood. You're right. I was not here. But since I've been here the last 8 years, I think Brandon Large has done such a good job. And you are correct. I think another thing that's impressive, too, is some of the young, talented linemen they have. The entire district has some really good young talent. We'll talk about a ton of them. Class of 2029. Devin, just saying that out loud is insane to me. I feel like we just went through the class of 2020 and 2022.
Yes, exactly.
We're seeing all those kids get drafted in the NFL draft a couple weeks ago. But class of 2029, which are current freshmen, going to be sophomores, there's a ton of really, really good talent. Westwood, one of those players that you mentioned, Ben Atwood, I love his film. I think Ben Atwood, when you look at his receiving as a sophomore last season, what he was able to do, and I look at, can we talk about this running back? Can we
Absolutely.
talk about Keyshawn Barkus as we stay on Westwood? I think our production team, Mr. Max here, who's to the left of us, Max is awesome. I believe he has Keyshawn Barkus' tape, running back from Westwood last year. When we talk about running backs in the state, he's one of the best. I mean, look at this. Bouncing out, cut. Look at the power. Look at the speed. Racing down the right side. Keyshawn Barkus, true Division I talent here. And when you look at his film here, I love this back shot right here. Look at his eyes. Look at the vision. Kind of stutter steps. And look at the balance. Staying out, spinning off defenders, taking it to the house. When January came this year and college coaches were down in the state evaluating players, Westwood High School was a destination stop for them because Kashawn Barkas. The speed, the vision, the bouncing off players. Here's that South Point game I'm talking about down in Tucson. This is a cut. Bam. Blocking, getting his nose in the trough there. College coaches love running backs who can block. This kid can do it all.
Massive senior year coming up for Barkas. Led 6A in rushing as a sophomore and a junior. Two-time first-team all-region running back, an all-state guy, a track star as well, going to his senior season. Listed at 5'9" and a bulky 180 pounds, getting his reps in here today as well.
Yeah, I don't see anything that he can't do on the football field, and I think another one of those things is improving his speed out here and kind of showing coaches, hey, the bulkness. I can be a 3-down back, and heading to Nevada, a program that really likes to utilize running backs, not just so in the backfield, but also in the passing game.
And real quick, because you did bring up the line, I do got to talk about a couple offensive linemen. Right now, they're working out at the end of the end zone right now, and you never know how much stamina they're going to have on a hot day like this. It's beautiful out, but you never know what you got. But two things that they know they got is consistency up front. A pair of juniors coming back as seniors next year. Juan Pablo Cervantes started every game at left tackle. Adam Esperanza started every game at left guard. So that left side of the line will be very familiar. Fullback expertise. But on top of that, a transfer from Chandler High School. Tristan Hall coming in. He'll be a junior next year on that defensive line as well. So there's a lot of familiarity, and on top of that, a lot of talent and experience.
And let me bring out one of those 2029 prospects, because I think this is a really cool moment. It's going to be a proud father moment up here. Jackson Pond, class of 2029, 5'10", 250, wearing jersey number 58 out here. He is the son of Brady Pond, which is amazing. And Devin, how about that GPA? 4.27 GPA, and I know he's a multi-sport athlete, also on the track and field and the wrestling. Shout out to Jackson Pond.
Well, we talked about earlier, we're going to be going down to the field all day long. We'll talk with coaches. We'll talk to recruiters. Elliot Goodbye is downstairs right now with one.
Thanks, guys. How y'all doing? We're down here, and the weather's beautiful, and it's a lot of fun when I'm here with Adams State quarterbacks coach Bird Alexander. You came from Colorado to be here. Right. What is it about the talent in Arizona that brings you out here?
What brings us out here is our connection from Arizona. We had a lot of guys back in the time of when Adams was first getting going and first building their culture. A lot of the AZ talent was our success. So our head coach, Levi Gallus, made it very important that we want to reach back out to the AZ community and reconnect that connection with them and start rebuilding that culture again with them, because we had a lot of success with them back in the day. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here today.
How much underrated talent have you seen out in Arizona so far just in your search?
For me, I'm from California, and I've never been to Arizona, and from being here for 2 days, there's a lot of talent that's unseen. There's a lot of talent that needs to be seen and recognized. There's a lot of guys from 6A to 5A, and even the 4A that needs to get their name recognized. So being out here, I've seen a lot of guys that caught my eye from the start to the finish.
And what are some of those things you're looking for on a day like today?
We look for really like the day like today's guys with high energy, guys that's focused, guys that understand the concepts and understand the assignment and their alignments and stuff. Understanding just football from the ins and outs. It doesn't have to be a full deep analysis or a deep insect on it. Just seeing like if they understand just the basics. Okay, tackle, running, and just all the speed parts about it. That's it. Just the little things.
When it comes to recruiting, what do you think is an underrated element that some of these kids and maybe even parents don't think about?
I think something that's underrated is the fact of just go out there and when you see a coach, just introduce yourself. Just say your name, your last name, what class you are, and what sport you play, and your GPA, and that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. And now, when it comes to skills, it's tough to know kind of what to develop, right? When it comes to some of those foundational things that people should have going into that next level, what are some of those foundational skills?
I think some of the skills that is important is speed, explosiveness, and agility, because everybody in high school, you can separate yourself from being fast, but everybody at the next level is fast. So having that speed, agility, and explosiveness and carrying it within your senior year into your college, into your first year of college is important, because when you get to that next level, everybody's fast and everybody's strong.
And now, Everyone's talking about the skills. Of course, it's important on the field, but what about in the classroom? Are y'all paying attention to that?
We pay absolutely attention to that. Like, if student before athlete, that's the key. Student before athlete. I like to say what my coach has been saying: don't let your grades determine where you end up. It be over your talent. You know what I'm saying? Don't let your grades determine where you end up over your talent.
And for you, when it comes to your journey, how can you speak to going to the right program, not just the best quote-unquote program?
I think that's a good question. How I can speak about it, when you're researching schools, look at the school history, the school, the coach, the foundation behind it. Look at the demographics, the area it's located. If you're a small town guy and you're not going to be too well adjusted with a big city, that's very important to do. If you're a big city guy and haven't been to a small town, that's something that you have to look into. Hot to cold weathers, if you can adjust to it, if you're fine with it, okay. But I think overall, the whole research of the whole school institution is important.
Well, keep an eye out. Adams State in Colorado. This is Coach Alexander. Thanks again, Coach. I'll let you get back to it, okay? All right. Back to y'all in the studio.
Devin, that was an amazing interview. Our guy Eliov bringing the absolute heat there.
Oh, you know he is.
But Coach said something that was interesting, and I'm going to ask you here. Because you were born.
I don't like when you're asking the questions.
You were born and raised here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he goes. Eliov asked him, "Hey, what do you like about coming out to Arizona?" He's like, "Oh, I'm from California. The talent's amazing, but how about this weather and how amazing it is out here?" And he's like, because it's true. A lot of these college coaches, they love coming to Arizona because it's a nice travel week for them. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm a college coach. I'm coming into the state. I'm flying into Sky Harbor. Give me a 3-day itinerary. What am I doing?
3-day?
As a local Arizonian native.
As a local, like, what are you going to go do?
Give me 3. Yeah, what am I doing?
Oh,
what
goodness
am I doing?
gracious.
Put you on the spot.
This is a
And we're
tough
talking
one.
about a West Side guy here too. So West Side,
I try to get around. I was just in Mesa for spring training.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm beautiful. So give me like 2. What is a must do, must go?
Oh man, the old head's gonna tell you gotta go to Castles and Coasters, but the mall down there got stripped down if you like all your movie stuff.
I did not have that on my.
I know you didn't. I was like, what is the most out of pocket thing I might be able to rip out
Castles
here?
and Coasters. See, I put Devin on the spot right there. It's a good banter. I like. I'll have you work on that though. Think about a 2-day itinerary for some college coaches.
Man, if you actually want to come out here on vacation, go to Sedona.
Okay,
I don't know. I mean,
love that.
Sedona Red Rock is a beautiful facility
It
too.
is.
I don't know
It
how.
is.
There's not a ton of kids there. You're not gonna spend a ton of time there, but
If me and the other 5,000 tourists.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Sedona. The good thing is we could get back to football now and talk about Dobson.
yeah, the Dobson Mustangs, 5A Central Valley region this past year, 4-6 on the season. Again, not a record that you're going to brag too much about, but you have to go back and look at what Coach Bobby Newcomb is doing here. Picks up the program 1 year ago. This is a group that has not been to the state tournament since 2007. They have not won a state tournament game since 1994. This is an opportunity for Coach Newcomb and this program to continue rising, continue building. We got to see them last year with our Fiesta Bowl showcases on Thursday night when they took on Sunny Slope, and you can see the differences. And one of those big differences is another Newcomb. You know that Micah Newcomb is coming out here this year, and he's looking to not just put up stats, not just build himself, but to help build the foundation of this program for what is next for them.
I want to start with Coach Newcomb here. I was at an event last week. The Cardinals came down with Rock and Protein, actually here at Westwood, and threw out an event. I was talking to some administrators, not just Mesa Public Schools, but some other districts, and they said they were so impressed by Coach Newcomb in Dobson and just what he's been able to accomplish. And he's only been in there for, it's almost been exactly a year now. Him and his assistant head coach, offensive line coach, Bruce Binkley, who's also been another head coach in the state, what they have been able to accomplish in terms of getting those kids right in the weight room. What Coach Newcomb preaches is family, culture, attacking the weight room, and you could see it with those Dobson players being around that program, Devin. Quite a bit of times. We had that game last year, you said, and a couple times just watching them this spring. Those kids have found a new love for the sport. And when you talk about individuals being in those role model situations, as head football coaches are, Coach New comes out as one of the best. And so having that hire last year come in after all the tough situations at Dobson, I love what Coach Newcomb's been able to do, and it's found a new love for the sport, for those players, which I love. And now let's talk about his son, Micah Newcomb. Micah is a total beast. And when you look at the Newcomb tree, and his brothers who went on to play Division I football. He had a brother play at UCLA. He's got J.J. Newcomb who is at Oklahoma. Micah is a bigger, more physical football player. Plays running back, plays middle linebacker. Here's him in the backfield. You see the breakaway speed against a McClintock team that is loaded with speed. He runs away from everybody here. Here's him on the defensive side of the ball. You just see the recognition. No false steps. Gets lateral. Look at him take on those blocks and then finish with the tackle. His physicality that he's going to bring to the field this year as he kind of reaches the quarterback's eyes there for jumps and interception, he looks incredible. The weight room numbers he's putting up are enormous. Micah Newcomb, and Dobson's in 5A right now. Micah Newcomb would be a guaranteed starter at every 6A school. He's that type of talent. So when you talk about Dobson football and you talk about elevating the program, it's starting with the kid like this. And the other thing, he's a great kid. Takes care of all of his business in the classroom. Yes, sir, no, sir. That's the way he was raised with his parents. He is a tremendous talent, and he's going to win games for Dobson High School this year.
And you talked earlier about just the athleticness of this program and what they're doing. Another thing Coach Newcomb is doing, when you look, I mean, all of our notes on here that was given to us by the coaching staff, it's all about who are dual sport athletes. There are 7 just on the roster that we were given. There's more here today than what's on the roster. A lot more here today than what there was last year. But just on this list right here, 7 football players who are also running track this school year. And if they're not running track, it's because you have a guy like Santiago Hinestraza who's playing baseball as well this year as an offensive defensive lineman, and there's a slew of boys volleyball players as well in this program. It's not just football athletes, it's players falling in love with the sport while also being academically and athletically inclined elsewhere in school.
Yeah, Coach Newcomb has always preached that. Always. Academics and multi-sport athletes. When he was at Castile as an assistant coach and then making his way to the head coach, he always pushed his kids to the wrestling mat, to the track, playing anything, baseball. So he's always done that, and he's always had some academic classes set aside in some of those windows where they're able to, making sure his kids were eligible, and not just eligible, but far beyond that, providing opportunity. The amount of time I've spent with Coach Newcomb at Castile and now at Dobson, and Coach Binkley. I already talked about Coach Binkley a little bit. He's another guy who's tremendous at pushing and motivating kids, molding them men there. They do such an amazing job of that, Devin, and it's really, really cool to see.
We got more recruiting going on here. Let's head on back down to the sideline. LF, goodbye. We got another guest downstairs.
That's right. I'm here with the defensive line coach for Knox College, Adam Taylor, but he's not just a coach at Knox College, he's also an Arizona High School alum, Cactus High School, and coach here as well.
Absolutely.
Coach, seeing a day like today, going back to your playing days, how cool is this?
Yeah, it's definitely really cool. I wish we had this when I was playing. I know we used to have the big surprise, big man competitions back when I was playing. I was just talking to a former coach of mine about it, and just something like this is great just to get Arizona kids out there and get them to college, because that's what it's all about. So it makes me happy to see that this has grown this way.
When you look at the talent in Arizona, is it impressive as far as a surprise, or did you expect this?
Oh, I expected this. Being a Cactus guy myself, I expected it. So, but now it's just nice that it's getting put more on the map, and that we're starting to become more of those powerhouse states. So it's definitely exciting to see.
And what goes into developing as a state and becoming one of those, as you said, powerhouse states?
I think it's just the hard work that the coaches put in. I always got to shout out the coaches because I am one. But I think for the kids as well, I think for getting into classrooms, getting their grades right, and turning the state into what it is, I think is what really makes it special. And being able to have football like this year-round also helps a lot, too, compared to Midwest where it's, still cold right now or raining or snowing or whatever it may be. So I think just the hard work that, the community, the coaches, and the players have put into making this a powerhouse state.
So you mentioned the weather, but how can you compare coaching here in Arizona compared to other states?
It's competitive. Yeah. I think the high school level is just as competitive as some colleges, and I think that's why you see a lot of college coaches out here, because they want Arizona guys. And I think the toughness is what I look for as well in a coach. I just love that Arizona toughness, because they'll come out in 100 degrees and still play football. So if you have some toughness like that, it's always good to have on your roster.
So you mentioned the toughness. When you think of an Arizona football player, what are those aspects that come to mind?
Toughness, like you said, I think grit, and I think this kind of mentality is I don't care who's in front of me or I don't care what team's in front of me. I'm going to give my best and play, because that's how I felt going through high school. I didn't care if I was an undersized lineman and I saw a 6'5" guy, I was like, I'm going to take him down. Like, that was just my mentality, and I think it's that mentality that a lot of Arizona guys have, is they don't care what challenge is ahead of them.
Yeah, that little bit of the underdog in them a little bit, right?
Yep.
So obviously we can't get into this notebook. This is for him only.
Yep.
But when it comes to some of those aspects, those notes that you do keep to yourself, what are some things in a general sense that you're thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, I like talking to the coaches because they're going to tell you all. But what I look for, especially at Knox, is we look for competitors, not just on the field, but in the classroom too. So I'm looking for high GPA guys that are going to cut it in college, guys that are going to go to class, guys that are dependable. So when I talk to the head coach and he says all of those things, it's a green flag for me, and I go right away and I go talk to him. And obviously the talent is a big deal too. And coming out to Arizona, you're going to get great talent. So it's just those type of competitors on and off the field is something that I look for particularly.
When it comes to developing football IQ, because obviously at that next level, that IQ is everything. It's so much of it. How do you go about that?
Me personally, I make them love the game. I mean, obviously you can't make them love it to the same extent as a coach, but you watch football with them, you'd be surprised how many guys, and kids nowadays don't know Bill Belichick or don't know those. And I have some guys on the team now who are like, who's that? And it blows my mind.
It's going to age you.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yes, yeah. And so I think it's just doing that is making them watch a football game, making them see what you see. And so when we watch film, or if there's a game on and I'm with the guys, I'm like, hey man, did you see that move? Or did you see what they did? They did that because of this. It's getting them to become a fan and not just playing Madden all day.
Well, I guess that's part of my next question too, is from you growing up to now, what are some of those differences between the players that you've noticed that you're helping trying to bring that back?
I think the difference is with social media and stuff, and obviously I'm not too old to the point where I obviously had social media, but it wasn't as big, so they're seeing all the big time offers, and that's really all they're seeing, and sevens tournament, which is great, but I think the difference is we watched football. Like, we actually watched college football. We watched professional, high school. We kept in on that stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing with these young guys, is showing them that there's a lot more than just one-on-ones or sevens, and then a lot more to social media and to the game of football.
A couple more for you here, Coach. Thank you for taking the time. When it comes to finding that right college, right? Each player's looking for that right college, because it doesn't always need to be that D1 and all that, right? When you're looking for that right college, what are those elements that you think is important for players and student athletes to think about when finding that right place?
Can they go there without playing football? That's the number one thing I tell recruits is, can you see yourself here if football is not a part of your life? Because if you can see that, then I think you're at the right place.
That is some great advice. I don't know if I've heard that one yet. And then the last one for you, for parents. It's a partnership. Everything's a partnership right now. What's some of your advice to the parents watching about their kid?
I think with parents, that's a tough one. With parents, I think the biggest thing is let them go through the process. Also help them when it comes to paperwork, and there's so much stuff, applications and FAFSA, all that good stuff. I think helping him through that process is important, but also let your kid, decide for himself what he wants, and I think when I talk to parents, I always love when I hear parents like, hey, he's making his decision, it's up to him. Obviously we have to guide him in the sense of financially, but everything else, we want to make sure he's happy. So I think that's the number one thing, is just be supportive. Make sure the financials are right for sure. But also let them make the decision, because this is where they're going to call home for 4 years, and not particularly you. So that's what I would say.
Well, for Coach Taylor, yes, he's with Knox College, but he's also Cactus High alum. We got to mention that. Thanks again, Coach. You get back to it, all right? Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Back to y'all.
I feel like that's a perfect segue there, Devin, because we're talking.
My
talking to the
Cobras.
West Coast. I was going to say.
My
you live right next
Cobras.
to
I'm
it.
2014, man.
I love what Coach just said there for a couple reasons. But when he talked about the parents, let your kid make the decision in terms of his recruitment. Be there to support. 100% be there to support and have those communications with him. But it's your son's recruitment. It is not your recruitment. Don't live vicariously through your kid. Let him be happy with his decision. I love that. That is straight from the words of a college coach who is recruiting their kids. But Devin, I got to pass it back to you. You just saw it. West Side alum, Cactus High School. 2-day itinerary. I still don't have it from you. If I'm going to the west side. I'm going to the west side. What
If I'm
should I
going
do?
specifically to the west side?
Specifically the west side.
Well, I tell you what, there is a Via Luna over on the west side.
Okay,
So first and
let's go.
foremost, you're having lunch at Via Luna.
Love
no matter
that.
which of the locations, if you're going to the main one down here in Chandler, or if you're up here, there's one on Bell Road around
We get
17th Avenue.
Queso Fendito? Where are we getting?
We get dude. You know, man,
we
I
getting?
love me a good enchilada.
I love enchiladas.
And I
too.
always,
Yeah.
I can't do either 2 beef, 2 chicken. I gotta have 1 beef, 1 chicken. Give me Christmas sauce on that too. And the rice and beans are some of the best in the state.
Quiero comer pollo de enchilada todos los días. Perfect.
Oh my Lord! I just went to the Twilight Zone. I didn't know Cody could do that.
Look at that. I believe Mr. Spurge is ready. Anytime you want to pass.
I believe we have Adam Beadle downstairs in the studio. Jordan Spurgeon, Claudia Collins with Bleacher Talk downstairs with Adam.
Yeah, Devin, thank you so much. Adam Beadle, the man who doesn't sleep. You are at every showcase, every practice you can get out to. And today you're joining us here at the Mesa Football Showcase. Adam, over under 5 hours of sleep going on for you.
I did get over 5 last
Okay.
night. So, you know
Give
what?
it up.
I'm feeling really good this morning. I woke up and was like, you know, it's going to be a great day. So, feeling great.
You know, I want to add, I know that this guy doesn't sleep because he is a college student, and he's actually in one of my classes. I just told him we'd be posting final grades tonight. He's a great student, too, I have to say. So somehow, on all cylinders, you're firing. You're A+ on the field and apparently in the classroom, too, which is a great example for these guys that are out there practicing
Absolutely.
right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you got to do both. I think a lot of, coaches, if you really want to play at the next level, you got to be great on the field and in the classroom. And so, setting the example, I guess. There you go.
It goes for everything. Okay, so getting into some football here, because obviously I know you're very dialed in. And for those that haven't seen Adam Beadle, you're obviously not plugged into the high school scene, because Adam right now is the go-to guy, in my
Yeah, and
humble
if you
opinion,
think you
for all
haven't
these
seen him,
things.
you probably have.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're hyping you up here, but we do mean it. So when you see this
thank
showcase right now, Red Mountain's out there, obviously. It's a premier program across the state. Dobson, Westwood. Who are some of the guys that you're I saw you out there with your camera paying close attention to today?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think some of the big storylines for Red Mountain this season is their new quarterback, Dane Silver. They brought in from Eastmark. He's going to have to sit 5 games, but, man, I tell you what, they've got a couple players in this team that transferred in, and once, we get over that mark where they have to sit, I think Red Mountain could be really scary. They got another guy in the backfield, Julian Mapalo. He played mostly linebacker at Gilbert last year, but I think he could play a little running back at Red Mountain. He's got the frame, he's got the size, he's a great player. Then another guy, I got to look at his name because if I'm going to say it wrong, Lysander To'otoo. His older
seen his
brother.
weight room videos
Oh my
too.
goodness.
I've got to say.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
I walked up and I'm like, who is that? To learn he's the younger brother. His older brother already has a couple Division I offers, probably going D1. But his younger brother is like twice his size. And I was like, wow. But, I mean, so I think Red Mountain is going to be really physical next year. They got a lot of great people in the trenches. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be really exciting. So.
Thank you.
Talk to me about some of the other, programs, the coaching. I know you pay attention to everything that's happening on the field. Let's talk Dobson, for example. What kind of progress have you seen over there?
Yeah, absolutely. I love what Coach Newcomb has done in that program and kind of coming in and just adding some energy. I feel like the prior couple of years before Coach Newcomb got in there, things were a little low. They just weren't as high. And now we're back to seeing a Dobson team that is going to compete year after year. And his son, Micah, picked up an offer from NAU a couple of weeks ago. And, he's just a guy that can play both sides of the ball as well. And I think, Dobson every year, they don't always have the flashiest of players, but they always have a great group that's really connected and is always gonna go out and perform on the field.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that with Dobson too. Coach Newcomb comes in, and enrollment in the team is very, very low. And now I was looking out there. I mean, it looks like double already from what it was last year. That's so important, and that just speaks on, what Mesa as a district is doing, hiring these coaches and continuing to improve things. We're in a brand new room here. All the weight rooms are new, fields are new. The last couple of years, it's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to see a couple more teams later on today. I'm really excited to talk to Coach Felker in Mesa. Just seeing him back in charge at a school is really cool. And then obviously Andy Litton over at Mountain View and what he's been able to do in the last 2 years with that program has been really special. So I think, the Mesa School District continues to excel and do really great things year after year, and one of the more competitive districts in the state of Arizona for sure.
All right, I got to ask about, our host team, Westwood. Anybody over there that you're really eyeballing this season?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a stud running back in Keyshawn Barkis. He committed to Nevada. I mean, you talk about a guy, you just kind of hand the ball and you're like, go, score, go do it. And he'll do it every single time. The kid is a stud, and they've got a couple other guys in the trenches as well. Again, another team in this district that, had a bit of a down, period, but are on the come up. They're seeing more players in their program, and they're really just trying to revitalize, and that's exactly, I think, what they're doing right now.
Lastly, I got for you, Adam, because this is a thing, Mesa was one of the first schools early on to develop these showcases. Just how helpful is it for you? I know you try to get to every single team practice you can, so when you're able to knock out 6 schools in one spot. I know you were at one in the West Valley yesterday, and now you're here today, and there's more going on in different valleys. Just seeing the growth of these showcases and having the opportunity to talk to so many guys at once,
Yeah.
It's got to be nice, right?
I absolutely love it, and not just because we get to see so many players and coaches, but we get to talk to so many players and coaches. I've formed so many great relationships with a lot of the coaches in the state of Arizona, a lot of players in the state of Arizona, and quite frankly, a lot of college coaches too. And those are guys usually you only get to see once a year. So to be able to come out here and, reintroduce yourself maybe to them or just see them and always have a short conversation. There's so much knowledge you can pick up from these showcases, from talking to the players, from talking to the coaches and the college coaches. And it's just a great environment. Football in the spring, after a period of no football, I guess, it's great to just get into it and build the energy for the season. Last year, I think we learned a lot about teams in the showcases. I think that's when we really figured out that Basha was going to be, as deep as they were. And coming to the Mesa one, it was about, how really good Mountain View was going to be coming into the season, how good Brady Goodman was going to be. So that's what I'm honestly here again learning, is how good some of these teams are, and especially a team like Red Mountain, I think might be one of the best teams in the Mesa District next year.
Common thing that we've had in our 2 interviews is relationships. So I think that is kind of the bottom line when it comes to these showcases. It's really about relationships for the players, coaches, for us out here getting a chance to talk to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the fact that you can somehow manage to be everywhere all at once.
Hey,
it's incredible.
I enjoy it. I love it. I wouldn't be out here doing it if I didn't love it, and I'm so blessed and thankful every single day that I get to come out here and do what I do.
Heck yeah, Adam. Keep doing the thing. Get back out there. Start filming the guys you got to get and doing your interviews. And, we'll see you around later, Adam, Cody, Devin. Great stuff as always, right?
Amazing job, guys. We actually switched the headset of Devin Henry.
Thank you, guys.
And brought in one of our own here,
Perfect.
Jake Barrow. Coach Barrow coming out
Yeah, I
from
don't know how you do
Illinois
it all.
State out here. Amazing. I think we're going to get on camera. There we go. Coach Barrow's here. Coach Barrow, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Amazing time. How does it feel to come back here?
It's fun. It's exciting, especially spending a year away. Back to what's home for me, coming back here and seeing the Arizona high school football community that means so much to me, that I was here for 14 years coaching and getting to see kind of where everybody's at now and touching base with old friends and seeing some coaches in different spots and, getting to see their players. And there's some great players out here, and it's funny how regional stuff is. You go out to Illinois and see certain players in the Midwest and surrounding states, but then you come out here and it's a totally different skill set. So it's a lot of fun to come out here, not just from a homecoming perspective, but from a recruiting perspective and seeing different style of play.
I love how you mentioned that because 7 years at Casa Grande. You won a state title. I remember broadcasting that football game. Angel Flores at the helm at quarterback there. It was an amazing football game at Sun Devil Stadium. And 3 years at Corona del Sol. You have seen Arizona high school football talent explode in the last 10 years. What impresses you the most about when you were a head coach here and now on the other side recruiting these players?
Yeah, I think it's how deep it is. That's what's the most impressive thing to me. You come to a showcase or you visit a school and you've got a list of about 10 to 15 guys that you know about, and then by the time you leave, it's 20 to 30 that you think really can play Division I football. And so that's probably the biggest thing I've noticed on this trip coming out here is how deep it is and how you come away with so many good football players. But even just from the last 15 years, seeing the depth of football change and how many new high schools there are that are able to compete so quickly. That was never the case. If you were a new school, it was a 5 to 10 year plan to be competing for state titles. Now it's quick. It's within a few years for some of these guys, and it's really impressive.
And I know you know the state of Arizona, right? You take the words ridge, desert, mountain. You can make all 90% of the high schools here in the state of Arizona.
Right.
I think what's interesting with you and talking to you and some other coaches who have transitioned from high school football coaches to the college ranks, your official title, Nichols coach and assistant general manager, spotting talent, right, and understanding high school athletes. And you have the perspective of, hey, he's 16 years old right now, but his development by the time he's 19, this is where he's going to be. You could probably find that and analyze that really, really quickly. How have you felt being a high school head coach in the state of Arizona has helped you at the college ranks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think what's been so great for me, seeing it from this perspective as a high school coach, is you understand the development of players a little bit better. Yes. I think, like you just said, you see a kid at 15, 16 years old, and you have a good understanding of where he may develop into. And just because he's playing one position for them because they got to win football games and help the team doesn't necessarily mean that's where he's going to translate to at the college level. So I think understanding that thought process as a high school coach has really helped. And also, when you're recruiting kids, being able to talk to them and relate to them, it's different when you've been in that room and you understand, what it's like going to school every day and having to balance the recruiting process, because I've seen it from the other side and talking to parents and they understand it. So I think just having a unique perspective is certainly helpful, more in recruiting probably than anything else.
So those of you who have lived under a rock the last 8 to 12 months, Illinois State has been one of the top football programs in the entire country last year. The run you guys had was amazing. I want to ask your opinion on this. When you're out here and when you're recruiting high school players, what are those traits that you're looking for?
Yeah, so we want guys that love football, which everybody says, but it really is true. Because if you want to play football at the Division I level, even for us, smaller Division I, you got to be a guy that loves football. You got to be a guy that loves the game. And then also we're just looking for guys that are going to fight through some form of adversity. Because exactly what you just said. The playoff run that we made, it wasn't easy. We had to go on the road every single game. We had to beat the number 1 seed to have a chance to play for a national championship. And then when we did play for a national championship, we had to take it into double overtime. So looking at players that have fought through some form of adversity in their lives, whether it's on the football field or off of it, that's something that really sticks out, because there's a lot of great players, and you can say, I want guys this tall that run this fast. Okay, you'll have a huge list, but what's going to really narrow it down is some of those other traits.
Jake Burrow coming back home here from Illinois State. Nichols coach and assistant general manager. Jake, I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
We're going to pass it down to the field to our guy, Elliot. Goodbye.
How we doing? Thanks for bringing it back down, because I'm here with Drew Loudenbach, the offensive coordinator for Augustana and Sioux Falls. Coach, when you're here, you're chatting with the guys on the sidelines a little bit. What are those conversations like?
I think initially just really trying to get to know the guys, learn a little bit more about them. This is a great opportunity for us to get in front of the coaches, learn about their GPAs, learn about their interests, and be able to, one, see these guys compete in person, and then get a feel for who they are as people and see if they'd be a good fit in your program.
So you just brought up a great point. We talk a lot about how great this is for the kids and how big of an opportunity it is, because it is a great opportunity. But for you, the coaches, how exciting is it to have these kind of events to come out to?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I think first and foremost, being able to get all these high schools in one central location, be able to evaluate them in person is huge. You get a chance to see these kids compete. You get to meet with the head coaches and get feedback from them, and then during the day be able to go drive around and see a bunch of different high schools. And really, we're down here for a 2-week period. We're going to see probably over 100 different high schools. So in terms of us being able to evaluate and find the right fit for us, it makes it super easy.
That's obviously a crazy grind. If you could just let us into kind of the behind the scenes of what goes into that kind of crazy 2-week period, which I'm sure you're just hustling and bustling the whole time.
It is. To me, this is one of my favorite parts of the deal, is where you really get out and get to meet a bunch of people, and the relationships you build is super important for us. So it is a little bit of a grind, but at the same time, being down here in Phoenix for 2 weeks, I mean, there's a lot worse places you could be.
Yeah.
But I think the key to it is trying to be prepared in terms of getting the prospect sheets in advance, kind of have an idea GPA-wise, looking at the previous year's stats, like who are the guys we should be on, building relationships with the high school coaches, so we know where to go. But I mean, it's a lot of driving around and all that, but it's cool. There's a lot of relationships that have been built here. This is year 2 down here for me now, so I know the coaches a little bit better. We have a decent amount of, like, we got Dominic Carmagiano from Red Mountain signed with us last year. We got 3 guys from Hamilton that started for us last year. So we don't necessarily always take a ton of guys out of here, but the guys that we take are impact players for us, so it's been awesome.
And how do you feel like you've developed as far as what you're looking for, how to find, okay, you know what, I thought this is the kind of player I'm looking for, I'm kind of looking for this player. How have you developed that for yourself?
Yeah, I think each school's got to figure out who they are, what they are, and for us, we're a private school. We have elite academics, we have elite, we got ranked as high as number 5 in the country, so for us, in all honesty, we're looking for those fringe Division I guys that, we feel like if we bring them in there, they're going to be a difference maker for us. But I think it's really just knowing who you are, and we're a 3.3 cumulative GPA, so like we're looking for some smart guys. I have a better feel now at Augustana for who's going to fit, who's going to stick. So this, again, awesome opportunity because I get to visit with these guys. I get to get their transcripts. I get to talk to them in person. So it's like, yep, you're an Augie guy. I can tell right off the bat you're going to fit in with us.
An Augie guy, I like that.
Yep.
So you said a difference maker.
Yep.
When you think difference maker, what does that mean?
Well, I'll give you an example. Our starting quarterback this past year, he's the number 6 passer in the country, broke his fibula week 5, and we ended up starting a true freshman, Rich Lucero from Hamilton High School.
That's right.
Came in, played 6 games for us, we went 4-2, and he's like 14, 15 passing touchdowns, and was on the scout team for the first 5 weeks. My guy showed up, and from that first walkthrough, you knew, like, yep, we made the right decision. So to me, that's the difference maker. Braylon Blunt is our starting running back from Hamilton High School. He's the type of guy that if you give him a touch, he could take that ball 70 yards. Yeah. He's unbelievable. So to me, the guys that we're recruiting down here, those are the guys that we feel like they can come make an immediate impact. And even if it's not as a true freshman, they're a guy that they're going to be a difference maker with speed, with athleticism. The coaching down here is phenomenal. Like, those guys come in ready to play. So that's really for us. What when I talk about a difference maker, that's what I mean.
Is there a common denominator between Arizona players that you've seen so far?
Athletic, for sure. There's a lot of speed. I think in our part of the country, you're going to get the big, strong, kind of the corn-fed offensive lineman, physical D lineman. But down here, just across the board, athletically. The skill positions, it's beautiful year-round, so these guys are out training. There's there's so many NFL guys, there's so many good high school coaches down here. The development of these kids here, it's unbelievable. But you watch these guys run, there's Division I guys all over the place, but there's not enough spots for these guys. So, to me, that's the biggest thing, is the athleticism down here.
Well, you mentioned Rich Lucero. Obviously, we love him down here.
Yep.
How have you seen him just develop in his own, personally,
Man, first of all, I got so much respect for Rich, and just, he's a true professional. He's he like I said, he was on the scout team for the first 5 weeks, but he came to every single position meeting. So all of a sudden, like, he fully intended on being a redshirt freshman for us, and all of a sudden our starter got hurt. I called him after the game, and it's like, Coach, I'm ready. There's no hesitation about it. I got a lot of respect for the way he goes about his business. He's organized. He shows up to meeting detailed with intention. I think he does a good job trying to build relationships with people. Especially down here in Arizona, like his brother played at Basha. He still has a lot of ties here, so I'm hitting Rich up like, hey, who are the guys? Because he comes back and trains here. So it's like, Rich, who do I need to be on? And we're asking his brother, like, hey, who are the guys at Basha that we really should be recruiting? And but he is such a team guy. I got 2 little twin girls. They made him a little bracelet. My guy wears it. He wears that thing to practice. He engages with my family. It's hard, and we have guys like that all over our football program, but I'm super proud of Rich, just the way, again, his day-to-day, who he is as a person, as a competitor, it means so much to him. And we also have a really, really good senior quarterback that got hurt. He's the number 6 passer in the country before Rich went in there, and he's also a team captain. So he's had to work through those two, kind of coexisting, and it's very competitive. But those guys, they're really respectful of each other. They appreciate each other. They push each other. I mean, Rich is just mature beyond his years for sure. I'm super proud of him, and he's gonna be really, really special.
Last one here for you, Coach. So you just mentioned it. He had a great quarterback already. He was a senior. There's a lot of players that wouldn't have done what Rich did and taken that on. How is his story a good example of just sticking with it?
Well, I think one is finding the right fit, and I think that's what Rich did. I mean, same thing, with Dominic down here. I mean, in all honesty, he had some bigger opportunities than us. If you look at it on paper, I mean, he had some Division I stuff. He had a lot of people interested, and he stayed committed all the way. I mean, he committed to us in June with Rich being there, with Gunner being there. So I think such a big piece of it is finding a good fit for yourself. I think sometimes guys get caught in, I'm going to this school or I'm going to that school, but it may not be the best fit. And I think, Rich is a good example of that. And he comes from a premier high school down here where I think a lot of guys, you kind of expect to walk in and be the guy day one. And I think that's the thing that surprises people even at our level. I mean, you'll see the level of competition and the talent that's there. So I think it can be a humbling experience for guys. I mean, there's, we got guys in NFL camp right now at Augustana. CJ Ham, team captain for the Minnesota Vikings, is an Augustana guy. Adam Thielen played in our league. So there's plenty of examples of guys playing in the National Football League out of the Northern Sun. So it's like, as long as you find the right fit, you're in a place where you have a good staff, you have good relationships, you're there for the right reasons, and you're patient, I think it typically works out for those guys. So again, to me, it's you got to find the right fit, and that's what's going to keep it sticky. And I think for us at Augustana, we got ranked as high as number 5 in the country. We've won the league 3 out of the last 5. I mean, we've had a lot of success, but in all honesty, the guys that we're recruiting, they're not just coming there to play football. They like the academic piece. They like that our head coach has been there for 13 seasons. I mean, it's a situation for guys where they know, we're not typically going to recruit guys out of the transfer portal. We're going to recruit high school players. We're going to retain them, develop them, and they're going to walk out of their 99% job placement. So it's a school they know you're going to get a shot at the pros, and if you don't, you're going to get a salary job, and you're going to be in a good spot.
Well, for Augustana offensive coordinator, Coach Laudenbach, I am Eliav Gabai. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Eliav. Cody's up here just loving these recruiter coach interviews up here because, it's exactly what you want here, and especially for some parents, some even players. This is information that you don't necessarily know or sometimes even think about.
Or you get. A lot of times these guys aren't talking to parents at all. So having that resource where you get straight word of mouth of coaches who are actively recruiting your kids is awesome. And I love what Coach Laudenbach said. He said, hey, when you look at recruiting right now for high school players, the advice I could give high school kids, go where it's a right fit. Because how many times do you just go, I've got to reach for the star. I got to get the D1, I'm D1 bus mentality, right? We say all the time, do not fall under the D1 bus mentality. There's nothing wrong with trying to achieve your goal of trying to get a Division I offer. But right now, right, it's it's always been hard, but right now it's really tough. That D2, like in Augustana, comes in, it's still one of the top programs in the entire country. If they want you, if Augustana gives you an offer, that means you are one of the best high school football players in the state of Arizona, and go compete. Like the value right now, it reminds me of the old JUCO route. Go JUCO, go ball out, prove yourself, but get a Division I offer. Right now with the transfer portal, it's almost like going D2. If you think you're the guy and you're an All-American, or you want to try to prove yourself to be an All-American, go to D2, ball out, prove yourself, and D1s are calling all day long for the top football players at Division II. So when he talks about Rich Lucero, quarterback at Hamilton, when he talks about Dom Camargiano, who's a quarterback at Red Mountain last year, those guys, if they can see the field right away, there's a great chance a Division I school comes and plucks them up.
And you talk about fits too, and here in the Phoenix area, it reminds me of those young men who are like, I want to go here, I'm doing this, they recruited me, and they come back and go, I wasn't ready to shovel snow, man.
Yes.
I mean, it's more than just the facility, it's more than just the field,
Yes.
and sometimes even more than just the roster. It's about the community that you're going into as a whole, especially if you have multiple opportunities to get a full ride offer. It's not just who has the shiniest weights, who has the coolest looking field, sometimes even who has maybe a little bit better fit at this position, that position, whatever. It's about the community that you're going into, because you get about, what do you want to say, 5 to 6% of kids going to college, and then after that, about 1.5% of college kids going to the pros. You still have to go get an education. You still have to build community. You still have to live a life over the course of these 4 or 5 years you're in college.
I always ask them, can you live there?
Yes.
When you're on your visit, could you live there? And not just the July months, right? Because you escape the Phoenix heat,
and you feel great. You feel great.
Oh, we're 7. Okay, did you check that December and January weather of negative there? It's a different. That's why I love the RMAC. We had Adam Staten here. Eliav talked to one of their coaches, the RMAC out of Colorado, that Division II conference. A lot of those places in Colorado, beautiful. Yes, they get snow, but it's not negative 30 wind chill. You're talking about 30 to 50 degrees. And in the summer months, you see 70 to 80. You see Fort Lewis recruit really heavily here, Colorado School of Mines. I love the RMAC for that, because you escape Phoenix, but it is kind of closer to Tulare. But you are right, Devin. It is where the best fit is.
And that fit isn't always on a roster. It's about how are you going to live your life when you're a young man living on your own for potentially the first time. Taking a look at Dobson High School, working their offense and defensive scrimmage. Opposite side of the field also has Westwood. Red Mountain right now on the sidelines as we move into what is the final 20 minutes of this block. We'll go and get our other 3 Mesa Public School football programs coming up next. And before we move on, we haven't talked about Red Mountain yet, but really quickly before we move on to them as they're getting their rest, since we have Dobson on the field right now, one guy I did want to talk about was another dual sport athlete. Look at Hunter Wheaton, the offensive lineman going to his senior year. We talk about GPA, 4.107 on the offensive line for that matter. And these young men, it's something that Coach McDonald told me a handful of years ago when they were playing Schwarr in the Open Division. I'm interviewing him. And one thing that I think is going to stick with me for the rest of my career is there's no job in sports like an offensive lineman. You get no glory. You get nothing. Your job is to protect your teammates, your receivers, your running backs, your quarterbacks. There is no larger thankless job in sports than the job of an offensive lineman. And the mentality and the mental fortitude that you have to have in the trenches, on top of the physical that you need to perform there, it's just a part of the sport that I think gets credit it deserves sometimes, but I don't know if there can be enough when you go and get those young men down the trenches.
And the best teams in the state, and really when you look at all football, and you get to look at the college level and you look at the pros, usually the team that hosts that trophy has the best players up front. Best offensive linemen, best defensive lineman groups, the guys, because that's where it starts. I mean, that's football. When you look at Dobson High School here, offensive line coach Bruce Binkley, I've talked about him a couple times. What he brings to the table, having another coach who has head coaching experience on your staff, coaching the kids up front, knows what it takes to get the most out of them, knows how to develop those players. That's a really good formula for success. That's what Dobson has right now in that coaching staff. And they have a couple of those kids who you have seen now 12 months under the Coach Newcomb regime that you go, yes, this is exactly what you want with Dobson.
Just saw Jordan Winston with that last snag. We saw him ball out against Sunny Slope during our Fiesta Bowl showcases on CW7 Arizona. Excited to be back for that, along with the Bill Riddle Classic coming up as well. And we continue to see Dobson working. We see Westwood working. Right now, Red Mountain on the sidelines, but plenty to talk about with head coach Kyle Enders in this program. 8-2 last year in the regular season. Made it into the Open Division quarterfinal. Fell against what was another Tyronus? I don't know. There has to be a big word for whatever Liberty has been doing these past 3 years.
Juggernaut.
The juggernaut that has been Liberty High School, but Red Mountain continually is trying to get back to that state championship game. The issue with the Open is you get a school like Red Mountain, 2-time state champions, 2-time state runner-ups, but haven't had a state title since 2001. Those 2 runner-ups coming in 2019, 2023, and what is always a stacked 6A conference. Now you're battling to be in that Open Division. You're fighting against the best of the best, and it makes getting to that state championship game harder and harder, but Red Mountain shows up every single year showing that they are ready for that task.
Yeah, they don't shy away from anybody. In fact, Kyle Enders requests those teams to play in the regular season because he knows it makes his team a lot better. Here's the facts about Red Mountain. They will always be a top team in the state with that current coaching staff. That current coaching staff is amazing. I talked about Brandon Large being an alum of Westwood and how much that program means to him. The same can be said for Kyle Lenders. Went to Red Mountain, played football there, has lived in the Mesa community his entire life. He lives and breathes Red Mountain football. And he cares and loves his kids so much. And his kids being just kind of around that program, whether it be team camp, some other things on campus, the respect that those players have for the coaching staff, but vice versa, because sometimes you have that, right? Like the coaches who demand, and whether it's right or wrong, just demand respect but don't necessarily give it as much. Those coaches have an absolute blast with those players. I mean, they truly love them. They do so much. They create so much competition in there that I think come the fall, it makes that team so good, so efficient. When they play the juggernauts, the Chandler Unified Schools, the Liberties, they look forward to it. They really do. There are teams in the state of Arizona, when you see Bash on the schedule, when you see Liberty on the schedule, you have that mentality, oh, we can't win that game. We can't win that game. Regardless, before even the kickoff starts. Red Mountain is not that team. Red Mountain goes into those games, they go in hungry, they go in confident, and they look forward to those matchups. That, to me, Devin, is the most impressive aspect of Red Mountain football.
Listed at 3,277 students in the student body by the AIA. We'll take a look at some film earlier. Adam, Spurge, and Claudia were talking about Lysander Toatoa. That he's going to be a sophomore next year, but going to his senior season, his older brother, Leonidas Toatoa. This young man with a 4.0 GPA has been outstanding for the Red Mountain Lions.
Yeah, so these brothers came in from Desert Ridge High School, got coached up pretty well. They transferred in the season last year. I remember when they transferred into Kyle Lenders, Coach Henders texted me, goes, hey, these kids, it was in the weight room, they go, these kids are the real deal. And they proved it on the field after Leonidas sat 5. He just was wreaking havoc all season long in there. And I talked about the weight room numbers. They have put up some massive numbers this spring that I think is just going to make them even a better player, because you can kind of see on this film right here, the athleticism. You see the quick bend, you see the powerful punch, you see the tenacity to the quarterback. Now you mix that with another 6 to 8 months of growth in the weight room. Leonidas To'oto'o is going to be a monster next season. Really, truly, I believe so. I think the growth in the weight room that he has had, maxed with it already, kind of the physicality he brings to the field, we are truly looking at, to me, going to be one of the top defensive linemen in the entire state.
Red Mountain back out on the field with their 7s. One of the quarterbacks out there, Caleb Joe, started the first 5 games at quarterback last year for Red Mountain. 3.9 GPA, was 4-1 last year. And on top of that, also a pitcher for the baseball team, who right now has not suffered a loss yet in the postseason. They are in the winner's bracket as the 9 seed, playing number 4 Corona del Sol, coming up on Saturday at Tempe Diablo Stadium. Again, we talk about dual sport athletes. Here's one who is actively the pitcher over at Red Mountain, fighting for a state championship. Here he is looking at some more exposure here at quarterback. On top of that as well here for Red Mountain, the fellow quarterback who's out there right now. Nope, that looks like it still is Caleb Joe, and a 6-foot, 175-pound young man who's looking to help lead this team as he did last year in his first 5 games.
This is what excites me about Caleb Joe and what impresses me about Caleb Joe, because last year, coming into a situation where he was the starter for first 5, Dom Camargiano transfers in from Chandler, kind of takes that starting quarterback helm at week 6. Caleb Joe didn't pout. You know, he didn't. He understood the situation, and he went into those first 5 games, played tremendously well. So what Caleb Joe brought, we had a game at O'Connor last year, the Fiesta Bowl game of the week, where he played perfect, especially in third down situations, and won that football game. He won that football game for Red Mountain there. He comes into this situation now where they bring in Dane Silver, starting quarterback for Eastmark, coming in. But same thing. Caleb Joe knew that happened. He's not transferring out. He's here right now. To me, he looks forward to the competition for that. Best man wins. Caleb Joe will be the starter of the first 5. Come week 6, let's see what happens. But also the Red Mountain staff knows Red Mountain will play the best player there. Without a doubt, will play the best player there. Caleb Joe earns that starting job. Caleb Joe will be the starting quarterback all year long. I just love that Caleb did not transfer out. He seeks the opportunity. He seeks the competition.
And who is next in line? That's Dane Silver out there right now, wearing number 2 for Red Mountain. He's under center right now, 3.5 GPA. First team all-region quarterback, currently holding an NAU offer.
Yeah, Dane Silver can make all the throws. When you look at the attributes that you cannot coach, that frame, the size, those things, I mean, Dane Silver checks all those boxes. What I'm looking forward to for Dane is to see the jump, right, from Eastmark 4A into 6A Red Mountain when you play the best teams in the entire state. I want to see what the game speed is to him. Now, granted, I think when you look at the receiving core he has, and it's no slant, I love those Eastmark teams. Just the talent level now at the skill position, right? They also double and increase. Just like you're going to see better defenses, faster and bigger kids, the talent around Dane just exponentially got better. It more so double with that, especially the receivers and the tight end room that Red Mountain has coming up. So I'm excited for Dane's game to naturally elevate, Devin, because of that. And same thing, like I said with Caleb, I'm excited to see competition because Dane was in an Eastmark situation where he was going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, he got hurt his freshman year, but last year's day one would be the starter. Now it's a situation where, hey, there are two guys, and that always brings competition and the best rise to the top.
Looking downfield, that ball gets picked off. Elijah Golhar. He'll be a senior next year. He was the starting field safety for the JV squad, plays nickel and DB, a 3.97 GPA. And this is something that I think we see a lot when the juniors who play JV. When you're a senior, you have to play varsity. And every now and again, you see it at all different schools, and it's so fun to see this coin flip. A guy who has not played varsity yet, it is now your job to step up, be a varsity athlete, and be a senior leader. And every now and again, you get some stars who only play varsity for 1 year long, and this might be a guy that you look at.
Everybody thinks playing JV football, you can't get recruited. That is so far from the truth. You know, to me, go get tape, go play, right? Getting those reps and getting game reps is so valuable. You can't replicate it. I love that you said that, Devin. You can play JV, especially as a sophomore. Mm-hmm. Go to varsity for 2 years and absolutely become a college football player. Absolutely. And I think you're going to see more coaches, too, have sophomores up and practice with varsity, but they're going to play on Thursdays at JV because they want those kids to get game reps, especially with the 6-quarter rule. You can play a full JV game, come up for varsity, and still be depth on Friday and still be good to go.
Another multi-sport athlete out there on defense wearing red number 2. Guard Lyles, this year someone with a 3.0 GPA, starting boundary safety for these Mountain Lions. A great tackler with a nose for the football. And on top of that, we talk about multi-sport athletes. He's a great lacrosse star over here at Red Mountain High School as well.
Yeah, they reload at certain positions every year. Linebacker and safety is one of them. They lose a guy in Jamison Wade who played 4 years, 4-year starter at Red Mountain, has like every tackling record at Red Mountain. He said everything. So that is a huge loss due to graduation. Jamison Wade's heading up to Eastern Washington to go play college football. But really, you look at the safety position and the linebackers, I swear Red Mountain just reloads there. They're coached so well there. Kyle Enders being a former linebacker at Red Mountain, I think that position group he takes to heart. But, man, those two position groups, like every single year, Devin, they have a guy who's a top tackler, top cover guy in the state at those two spots.
And as they move the hash mark, we will too. We'll step away from the athletes real quick because this is a program opened in 1988, the school did. They go back-to-back state championships in 2000 and 2001. Since then, though, no Golden Ball. We talked about how close they've been. And still, they continue to go out into the open or in 6A and really showcase how talented this team is. You talk about how great the coaching staff is with Kyle Enders here. What do they need to take that next step and reclaim their first Golden Ball since 2001?
Well, I think when you look in the open, which is always their goal, is to make the open. And the way the open format is now, right, you have those playing games. The top 4 get those first-round byes. You would figure, for just looking at the best athletes in the state, Chandler, Hamilton, Bachelor, Liberty, right? Those 4 you're outliers right now in the state of Arizona. You look at the rosters; they just have the best football players there. Red Mountain is the next tier that always wants to play that tier because it makes them better teams. But then you have that next tier where I'd say like 5 to 12 teams, right? And those are your playing games. So last year they played ALA Quinn Creek in that playing game, won by a touchdown, went in and then faced Liberty the next round. Those playing games are interesting because you 100% you want to go play in the open. It is technically an open game, but then if you do not win that game, you get dropped in the 6A bracket. We saw the 6A bracket last year was ultra competitive. It was one of the best 6A brackets I've seen from a competition standpoint because teams. What is that? That would be 9 through 16, 9 through 20.
And they went all the way down to 18 because how the open works.
Those teams were so even. If Red Mountain followed into that bracket, I think they would be a favorite to win that whole thing. Every year, just the way, because they probably had already played a bunch of those teams. They adapt so well. So to answer your question about how to win, I think, just calling it a spade here, much better chance of winning that 6A title, but it's still a title. That is 100% still a title. Going to the Open right now, I think any team in the state has a very big uphill climb against Bassett, Chandler, Hamilton, and Liberty, just from a talent standpoint. The coaching staff's 100%, I think, even playing field. But the 6A, so we'll see how it all shakes up come November. I think Red Mountain and a lot of these teams have a really, really good shot.
And you have those juggernauts, and the question becomes, in that group of about 12, 15, you said, who are the next ones to step up? Because it wasn't always Liberty right there. Hamilton and Basha both went on hiatuses after their programs were so strong. And you look at a program like Brophy Prep, you look at a program like ALA Queen Creek, who these Mountain Lions beat in the opening round, the Open. And then, of course, Red Mountain.
Yeah.
Which of those guys takes that step to be one of those 4 schools in the coming years to be, hey, we're not just one of the guys, we are a guy who you expect to win a state championship like those 4 we have right now.
Yeah, and that's where that next tier is. Who's the ones that can infiltrate the top 4, right, and get in there. Red Mountain looks forward to playing Brophy in the play. I think they beat them 3 years in a row or something like that. Red Mountain loves those games. So, yeah, Red Mountain's right there. Can it happen? Absolutely. I think the dethroning of those top 4, it would take Red Mountain's best football game, like anybody in that 5 through 12 crop, their best game ever. But guess what? That's why we play the game.
Yep.
Football's football, baby, and that's why we play the game. And it could happen. I just think they're on the outside looking into that top 4, but they are next up.
Westwood back on the field in their 7th with head coach Brandon Large, and I was incorrect. It wasn't 18, it was 19. Westwood was that 19 seed in the first round of the Open, lost to Perry 43-23. We all know, though, just how talented that Perry team was, and for Westwood to make their first state tournament appearance since 2014, to have to face Perry is not the most fun thing, but as we talked about earlier, now they have that opportunity to go and try to get their first state tournament win since 2007. They got to start the year on the road in California at Burbank High School last year, wins against Desert Ridge, McClintock, Desert Vista, Valley Vista, but it was that rough loss to end the year against the Jackrabbits of Mesa, who we'll see here in just a little bit, 41-15, but still, that postseason finish for them. I mean, a 20-point loss isn't great, but when you have a strong Perry team, you're going back to the postseason, you're redefining a culture and an establishment over at Westwood High School. It was a great building year for these Westwood Warriors to say, yes, we can go out and win ball games, and now here's their opportunity to say, here's the success, now we're going to build on it.
And I'm pulling up their schedule of 2026 here. They go Red Mountain week 2 and then Valley Vista, McClintock, Desert Ridge. So I look at this, and that California game, I believe they're hosting Salesian, California. To me, if they can start the year 4-1, I talked about momentum earlier with them. If they can start out 4-1, I have no idea how good that California team is. But that back half, Basha, Perry, Mesa, Shadow Ridge, South Point, you're looking at, if you could squeeze 1 out of 4 of that, you go 5-5, you'll make the 6A bracket.
Yep.
To me, Devin, because of how that's situated there. Now, you have to stay healthy, just like any team, right? Like the best playoff teams are the ones that are the healthiest most of the time. That back half, playing a Basha, playing a Perry, even playing Mesa here, the speed of the competition they'll get from there, the size of the kids. We're going to talk about Mesa. Mesa is a big team. They got some really good linemen back from here. And then, of course, Basha and Perry, Chandler Unified Schools. I think it prepares you for the 6A bracket. You know, you're not going to be in the play-in game, prepares you for the 6A bracket. They can prove me wrong and be in the play-in game. How am I to say that? But you make the 6A bracket. We just talked about how even that bracket is. I like the way that schedule's situated because you get used to the top speed in the state. You go into the 6A bracket. When you play Basha High School, the next team you play in the playoffs doesn't look as scary.
Yeah, exactly. When you have some of those juggernauts, especially that tail end of the year, even the South Point team in the year on, even last year, your final game against Mesa, every loss is a learning opportunity, and that gets you set up for that postseason game to go toe-to-toe against somebody like Perry. Now you look to do that again.
And that's what, like I talked about that South Point game where they almost squeezed it out. I think you showed the players, all the kids who played in that football game coming back, that we can beat these guys. Forget about playing them. Yeah, we'll play them. Baron Large is the same thing. They played the top teams in the state every year. We can beat teams like that. We proved it on the road, too. So I think situations at South Point coming up here this year, you get that game, you win a game like that, the confidence, momentum carrying you in the playoffs, who knows what happens? Maybe you make a run.
Now, before we have a little bit of a break here, we'll swap out, get our next 3 teams. I do want to set the stage more because, Cody, we are still about 15 weeks out from
crazy?
having our opening, which it feels like it's a long way away, but also how fast the offseason goes. This is a sport that never sleeps, and we're having college recruiters come out here. We're having a 16 melee of a spring showcase. Why are days like today so important and so vital, not just the recruiting aspect, but getting ready for the season here as we're not in pads yet?
I think it's just moments like this that the kids love and they cherish and they remember. And to me, when you look at high school football, it's creating memories, right? It's so many different attributes that have nothing to do with Friday Night Lights that you take and you love. And yes, the recruiting aspect piece of this is amazing, but it's what the district is doing here, what Westwood High School is doing here, creating opportunity, but also creating everlasting memories for high school student athletes, and that's what sports, especially football, is all about, Devin.
Our hosts in the huddle, the Westwood Warriors, getting together right now with head coach Brandon Large and company. 3-time state champions, 2-time runners-up, but made their first ever state tournament appearance since 2014 last season. How do they parlay it this year and move on to 2026, try to get their first state tournament win since 2007? The Dobson Mustangs under head coach Robert Newcomb, Dr. Robert Newcomb, if you will. One of only 2 schools in the Mesa Public School District without a state championship game appearance. They have not made the state tournament since 2007, but looking to build on a 4-6 season 1 year ago. How can they move forward, and continue to build this foundation here at Dobson High School? And for the Red Mountain Lions, as we talked about, this is all about what is next for them. How do you become that next set of great and win not just their 3rd state championship, but maybe their first ever Open Division championship? Before we get things swapped around here on the field, we'll head on back down to our sideline with Ellie of Goodbye.
That's right, Devin. Before you see Mesa out on the field, I figured we get Marcus Washington, the wide receivers coach for Mesa, right here with me. He also went to Mesa back in the day, and Mesquite. Yep. Coach, you're getting these guys ready for a day like today. What goes into it football-wise?
Football-wise, these guys just got to understand, it's get your body right. You got to come out here. It's hot. Get some water in you. Make sure you got your cleats on. You're not here in no shoes. You got the right apparel and things like that, because you're on turf. You could hurt yourself, and just make sure they're ready to go.
When it comes to ready to go mentally now, what are some of those conversations with those guys going into today?
Mentally, just getting these guys to understand that there's an opportunity here. We get better. We're out here competing with other schools. You get to measure up your talent level with other kids, other guys that you're going to be going against later in the season. And it's a moment where you can gauge your talent and be like, you know what, I need to work on my speed here, or my footwork here, or you can be successful in yourself as far as thought process and get encouragement and be like, you know what, I did really well today. I kind of dominated out there. I'm a good player, but also understand there's still room to grow.
So I was about to ask that. How do you balance, okay, I did well today, or I didn't do well today, and not taking that too heavy, or also getting it into your head too much, right?
As a coach, yes, you can't pump these guys up too much. Even if they are doing well, you have to set the bar high enough for them to where there's always increments that they're reaching. And at the same time, with confidence and positivity with the kids, you can't keep them down low. When they are doing well, praise them. When they do something wrong, yeah, you let them know about it. But you do more praising than scolding than anything, and I think these guys will grow.
Yeah. And when it comes to an experience like this, when you were a player back in the day, I don't know how many of these they had, man. I mean, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, all this, the way the community's coming together and having this type of jamborees, it's a new thing. It's definitely something that is, again, as we talked earlier, something after COVID has happened. I think COVID had put the state of Arizona on alert as far as talent and what other states are doing, and other kids are coming out as far as 5-star athletes and things like that. And I think Arizona is responding real well with a lot of kids just balling and coming out and being a part of the Big Ten, Big Fives, SEC, all that stuff. We're known now.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned Arizona responding well. When you think responding well, how have you seen that growth happen throughout the state?
I've seen a lot of different schools just as far as getting multiple talented kids. It used to be one kid on one team, right, 2 kids on one team maybe, but now you got 3-4 kids on a team, which in favor does good for them, and that's good. But at the same time, I think that the talent level across the board is increasing with just more opportunity with the air raid offense. You know, what they're looking for as far as speed, talent, defense now, the hybrid player being introduced. All that good stuff is bringing kids to understand, you know, their role and what they should be doing on any team.
Now, we are here at the Mesa Public Schools Showcase, and when it comes to the Mesa Public Schools, what do you think the style of football is, you know, when it comes to the Mesa Public Schools? Is there a common denominator?
I think that's up to the coach. That's up to the coach.
Okay,
I know
right.
Mesa back in the day, you know, when I was coming on, was a ground and pound. Just became a small passing league, but I think if I could honestly put a label on today, I think it's an air raid system. I think the most coaches here in this conference are looking to get the ball into the hands of their fast kids. They're looking to get multiple plays out of here, 40, 50, 60 plays, you know. They're trying to throw the ball at least 20, 30 times a game now. And if you got the kids, do it. You got the kids, do it.
Last couple for you, Coach, and you can go and do your job. It won't hold you any longer. Okay, so you're a wide receivers coach. For some of the players, some of the parents watching, what are some of those drill tips that you give? It's a lot of one-on-one today. What are some of those drill tips you give?
Drill tips as far as crucial things that receivers need to know. For sure, stance, you know, and then if we get in a little bit deeper, it's called restacking. You know, when you get off your stance, you get around the defender and you got to restack the defender. Those are all things that you're going to learn in high school. You're definitely going to learn in college. If you can master those things now in high school, you'll be a better college player. And just being aggressive. As a receiver, you know, they look at you kind of as a pretty boy a little bit, but yeah, you're the guy, you're the fast guy, yes, but you have to be aggressive. You have to be very, very aggressive as far as matching the defense's tone.
And we talked a little bit about the growth in Arizona. What do you think is the next steps toward the future to continue that growth?
Again, my personal opinion as far as Arizona football, it's coming along, and we got to catch up. You know, we're still a little bit behind, but the athletes we have that are in the community now, the athletes that are coming up, and the athletes even that just passed last few years, they've definitely put Arizona on the map and let everyone else know that we are here. And you know, we're not just speed. We got big boys that can run. We got talented linemen. I think we have the whole package as far as if you're looking for an athlete here in Arizona, you can find a linebacker, you can find a cornerback, you can find a safety. You don't have to go far.
Well, for Coach Washington, I'm Elioff. Goodbye. And for all the pretty boy wide receivers here, we'll send it back up to you.
I'm not a wide receiver, but thank you for the throw. I'll catch it real quick, and we'll take a break here in just a moment. Coming up next, Mesa High School, Mountain View High School, and Skyline High School take the field at the Mesa Public Schools Spring Showcase. Glad to have you here on Sports 360 AZ with the Relay Art broadcast crew. We'll be back in just a moment. I take it all back. We're going to head down to the studio. Claudia Collins, Jordan Spurgeon, our hosts of Bleacher Talk downstairs.
Awesome. Thanks, Devin. Yeah, we've got some guys here from Westwood. You know, you're just coming out of the showcase. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to the stream here, we'll get into things.
Keyshawn Barkis, class 2027, running back.
Samson Thingain, offensive line, class of 2027.
So having a chance to be out here today with your guys and with guys from other schools, seeing the different coaches around and just, you know, different instruction, things like that, what was it like?
It was a great experience. You know, I love to get my guys the good looks, get them offers, get them to go to the next level. Really just a good experience overall.
Yeah, same, a great experience. Trying to get my boys out there and get their names out, you know, helping a team, especially for the offensive line, being as one group, moving as one group, trying to get our boys out there, you know, get their names out there.
Absolutely, and I know you guys are you know, further along in your recruiting process, but you know, taking what you've been able to learn and be able to kind of help facilitate that and see what that's like. Just how's that been?
It's truly been good. You know, I got out in Nevada offer, I committed after my unofficial visit. Really just it's a humble process and just really stay down to yourself and be true to yourself.
Yeah, same exact thing. I got Illinois State last week. Very, very grateful for that. It's a very humbling situation, especially with the transfer portal, you know, and just getting our names out there is really, you know, amazing for us, you know.
Absolutely. And then last thing I got for you guys, just being able to have an event like this hosted at your school, at Westwood, put you guys on the map, you know, in a new room that I know is going to get some seats in here for film and stuff later. Just what's it like to be able to show that off?
Really grateful, you know, Coach Large, Coach Pond, and our principals and all, they really did a good job, you know, fundraising, doing what they need to do to get this program to a top level. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, super grateful to all the coaches that are doing this for us. Getting a new film room, get that new locker room last year. That field is amazing. Got that home. We don't have to go very far. It's really compact out here. Really family friendly. All the neighborhoods go here. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time after your scrimmage to come on over after the showcase and join me down here in the studio. We really appreciate it, and best of luck the rest of the way this year.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to step away for a quick second. We'll have more interviews in just a moment, but we'll step away. This is the broadcast with Sports 360 AZ and Relay Art. We'll be back soon. Hey, welcome back into the Annex. I'm Jordan Spurgeon with Bleacher Talk. And guys, real quick, I'm just going to have you introduce yourselves to the streaming audience real quick.
Spencer Blotter, class of 2027, safety.
Jackson Anderson, class of 2027, I play quarterback.
Awesome. So I want to start with you then real quick. So I know right now you're in the middle of a quarterback competition. How's that going for you so far this spring?
It's been a lot of fun. Being in a competition just puts pressure on you and the other guy to always compete at your best. So it's been really fun to just come in every day, give it everything I got, and we'll see how it ends up.
What have you seen from this guy? You picking him off a lot, or what have you seen from him?
I haven't thrown a pick to him yet. So.
Awesome. Just for both of you guys, if you want to start too, just what does this experience today sort of mean to you?
Oh, it's been great. It's been a long wait since November, so it's just good to get the cleats back on, come out, compete with all the guys.
Yeah, I mean, whether I get noticed by college coaches or not, I just love being out here, especially seeing all the colleges represented out here. It's always just man, show them what you got, give it all you got,
Curious, either of you guys have any hidden talents away from football?
I love singing Justin Bieber songs. So.
Okay. You got a favorite one?
Probably One Less Lonely Girl,
Okay, you might have to cue that up in your head. We might leave this segment with that in a moment. Okay. What about you?
I love to snowboard, go up a lot during wintertime.
Okay, during wintertime, staying safe, of course.
Yeah,
having a good time, having a blast. Heck yeah. Just as you guys look forward to this season, what are you most excited about getting through spring ball and then obviously into the dog days of summer after that?
I'm just looking forward to putting pads on. I can't wait to get back in it, just one step closer to actually playing.
Yeah.
I love summer workouts because I love conditioning. I love pushing yourself to the point where you're about to puke and pass out. And I think seeing other people push themselves that far, it's just the best. And yeah, I'm excited to put pads on, and I'm really just excited to do my best and win this starting job. So.
Well, hey, I appreciate the time, guys, and I was serious. I'll put you on the spot. Go ahead and sing us out to break.
No way.
No, we're not going to sing today. All right.
No way. No,
we'll catch that somewhere else.
It's hidden talent for a reason.
Hidden talent. Okay. All right. You got me there. But, guys, I appreciate it, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll be back after a quick timeout. Well, hey, join now. Dobson was just out there. Bobby Newcomb, his son Micah. You guys are just out there on the field, being a part of this showcase. I know it's your second year here now in the district. Being able to be a part of something like this, what's it like?
It's been great. A lot of great support from our administration and district, and the kids have been great out there. They worked really hard today, showing a lot of maturity, a lot of professionalism, and we're really proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Micah, just, seeing the growth of what your dad's been able to do so far here at Dobson, seeing the growth. I've seen, even looking at today, the numbers, I haven't gotten confirmed with you at all, but it looks like you have more players this year already than you had last year. Just seeing the change already, 1 year at Dobson, what's that been like?
It's also been, the change has been significant. Overall, the players showing up consistently at practice, just been really good culture build overall, and then just the overall values he's implemented in the team so far. So it's just been a really positive environment, and we're able to make significant improvements throughout the winter and spring conditioning so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bobby, I know this is not your first time, coaching a son on a team, but what's been different or the same or unique about having Micah on this team?
Well, it's like having a coach on the field. I mean, his football IQ is through the roof. His level of passion for the game is incredible to watch. His command of the team, and really the respect he's earned with his fellow teammates is really great. And it takes a lot of stress off of us coaches, a lot. But they respect him. They follow him, and he puts them in a lot of really good situations. And it really energizes everybody out in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Micah, what do you think is unique about this team? As you're gearing up into spring ball, getting ready for the dog days of summer, what do you think is unique or different this year?
I would say the overall connection with the teammates. I know I can rely on all my teammates to be there and be able to understand the plays, and when I check the call, or when a play is called, it's going to be ran effectively, and they're going to be coming to games ready, prepared to dominate every single game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think last thing I got here, and start with you, Mike, on this one. You have any talents or anything like that? Any hidden talents you want the world to know?
Shoot, I don't really know.
Or do you want to keep them hidden?
I'll probably keep them hidden.
We had a guy from Westwood. He says he sings Justin Bieber songs. He didn't want to sing on TV though, but he's keeping that hidden.
Yeah, I'm not a very good singer, but I can. I'm not a very good singer at all, actually.
Yeah. You look like you know.
Yeah, you definitely.
I can beat all my kids in ping pong.
Okay.
Yeah, I can beat all of them in ping pong. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can wipe them out in ping pong. Not even close. So that's one deal right there. Yeah, all four of my boys, I could beat them all in ping pong.
Okay. Fellow coaches in the district too. You think you can beat them in ping pong too?
Oh yeah.
Someone like Kyle Enders?
Oh yeah. We can go one on one. We can go one on one. Yeah, we'll see each other here. Yeah, next showcase, we'll bring a ping pong table right in the middle, 50-yard line. We'll go at it. There you go.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, Bobby, Mike, I appreciate the time. Go ahead and catch your bus. We really appreciate you guys being here today, and thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We'll have Kyle Enders on in just a moment. We'll step aside real quick.
Hey, welcome back. We're here now with Red Mountain head coach Kyle Enders, and I want to start with kind of the biggest news out of Red Mountain recently in Jacoby Lane. What was it like seeing him get drafted? That's someone that you got to coach up. You know, I was already doing the recruiting roundup when, he was going through his recruitment, and he's someone that I was talking to you about all the time, someone that Spurge could make a whole highlight reel of. So just exciting to see him come up. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Like I said, seeing a kid, I've known him since he was in junior high, and just really develop into a young man.
Mm-hmm.
You knew he had special talents. We've all talked about it before. You've seen him play, but just the growth he's made as a student and as just a young adult, seeing him succeed at USC, physically, he does things that are NFL bound. We kind of knew that. And to see him put it all together and living out his dream is going to be awesome.
I bring him up because showcases like this, events like this, are really valuable for players in their recruitment. Obviously, when you have someone extremely talented, like, they're going to get seen. But this is a really good opportunity for those guys that might not be catching eyeballs right off the bat, but coaches come out here and they're looking for those, hidden spaces in these players. What's that like for those guys?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of what we're built on. I think a kid like Jacoby Lane will get recruited regardless if there's a showcase. You just see him run around, right? We don't normally have a lot of kids that fit those. So normally it's most of the kids we have out there, it's like, oh man, they're a football player. Watching them move around, like, they won't look great on paper. But if you watch the film, and something I take a lot of pride in, and our coaching staff does, is if they're getting a kid from Red Mountain High School and we've coached them, it should say something about them. They're going to come with a certain mentality. They're going to come with a high football IQ. They're going to have the work ethic because it's kind of like we prepped them for them. So I have a lot of guys out there that were there today that I have relationships with, and like, hey, we're trying to get some more Red Mountain kids, or we're trying to get a kid from Red Mountain. And I think, to me, I take a lot of pride in that. We want to win football games. There's no doubt about it.
No.
But more importantly is, like, we know we're trying to send off a product to these colleges, and they know that with our reputation of they're ready to play football and they're ready to make it like a job for them, and like I said, the showcases are huge. I mean, there were so many kids that they were like, who's that? Who's that? I haven't heard about him. Well, they haven't started yet. Maybe they were playing behind a Jamison Wade. Maybe they were playing behind, I don't know, four of our starting O-linemen that we've lost. Like, there's a lot of kind of hidden gems, I like to call it. And I think the showcases, and we'll have another one next week for these guys. I think it's just huge to see our guys in person run around and actually play football.
Yeah. And people notice, I took a lap. I heard some college coaches. I even heard some players from other teams being like, it looks like Red Mountain, every player is a senior. They're just so tall and big, like other players from different programs and stuff like that. Just seeing that depth and seeing, this team become bigger and bigger year after year. Because I have noticed it too, just the actual size. I know the weight room program is a big part of it over there with Bree and stuff. But just what's that like, kind of seeing that come to fruition, just see this program continue to build forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've always said, we haven't won a lot of warm-ups, but we are getting there. We're filling out the jerseys, and the kids are getting bigger and stronger, and we have a really good 28 class. So a lot of those guys that maybe they were like, oh, they look senior heavy, were actually a lot of our guys that are going to be playing are going to be a little bit younger. But
that's what I was saying.
It's
like,
good.
They look like seniors.
We're definitely, that's what we the competition here in Arizona. Yeah. And with our schedule, you have to, you got to try to win in the weight room. You got to get, the days of just, that undersize, and we have them, but you got to kind of fill out to compete at this level because you're playing against college football players every week.
Building off of that, if you're watching, go on X right now, go on Red Mountain Football's Twitter page, and look at some of these guys in the weight room. Can you just name drop a few of them? Because I've seen some pretty impressive, records breaking and things like that.
So Leonidas and Lysander, the two brothers out there, Lysander's currently a freshman, Leonidas is a junior. I believe they both broke for their class, the bench press record. They're throwing around 350 pounds. We got Jaden Mansory out there squatting over 500 pounds. We got guys power cleaning over 300 pounds. I was not doing anything like that in high school. That's unheard of.
Like all of us put together, basically.
That's unheard of, yeah. But they bought into that. We were joking and we were like, so like, how did it go out there? I'm like, for us, that was a really good practice 5. That's our 5th time being on the field. And people are like, what? There's teams that are out there on the field in January. For us, we have to dedicate the weight room. We can't tell them we want you to be out on the field 3 days a week, 2 hours running around, and then you're going to have a quick turnaround in the morning. And we think we're going to make all these gains in the weight room. It's kind of counterproductive in my opinion. These kids, if we focus the last 4 or 5 months on just the weight room, we see those kind of gains. And now with spring ball happening, it's like, yeah, we're slower to go on the field right now, but we have all summer. And we want to kind of dangle that carrot. The kids are excited to be at spring ball. We practice this afternoon too. So like essentially it's a 2-a-day or whatever you want to call it. It's more of our, no, it's going to be more mental reps. What I mean by practice is like we're going to be out on the field. And the kids aren't going to be like, because they want practice 6. They want more. We want the kids in August when it's like that 3rd week of practice before you play a game and you're waiting on that scrimmage. We want them to be hungry still. Yeah. We don't want them wanting rest. We don't want them to have a break or be burned out. There's a lot of stuff you can do, not just on the field, in the classroom, or just in the weight room that can get them prepared for these. And like I said, it's the rat race, so we're a little behind, but we are getting there. And that's kind of our philosophy, is kind of, a slower approach, really focus on the weight room, and it shows with the kids' gains that they're having.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last thing that I want to touch on here, your quarterback room. You got some new guys this year. Yep. Obviously, you got a guy that's going to sit out 5 games, but how is it sort of shaping out so far? I know it's only 5 practices in on the field, but how are you seeing things in the quarterback room? I
mean, right now, we have Caleb Joe, who started our first 5 last year. Right now, he knows our offense. He's the guy that's out there with the first group. He's not sitting, and he knows our offense, the nuances of it, all of our protections, where to go with the ball, and catching up the other guys. Dane coming in. Dane's got a lot of physical attributes who can't coach. Big, strong, athletic kid, throw the ball a mile and things like that. It's our job as teachers and coaches to teach them our scheme and to get confident in it. Like we talked about, out there on the field, was like, that's our goal, is kind of stack days and get through the summer each day just building on our scheme and them getting more confident within it. And it starts with the quarterbacks when it comes to offense.
Absolutely.
Last thing from me before we let you get back to school. I know you're eager to get back there.
Find a key somewhere.
Who are some of the, those hidden gems that you were talking about? Who are some of the guys that you're happy they got eyes on them today?
Absolutely. So we have Miko Lopez, a DB for us that started, Simon Lopez's brother. And he's gotten, physically, he looks like a completely different kid than last year. He's just probably grew 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and he's put on good weight. He's been playing corner for us. We have guard Lyles, who started for us in the secondary, who, again, he's not going to wow you on paper with this size and everything like that, but then when you see how he breaks on balls and how he's flying around out there, you're like, wow. We have Derek Wilson, who he was out there. We didn't let him do a whole lot because he was busy. I mean, he's busy. He's chasing the state championship for our baseball program. They got a big win last night, but he's a kid I think he can play football or baseball at the next level. I think he wants to do both. And again, then just even them seeing him work in a couple drills is huge. And then offensively, we have Javion Williams, who was in our slot last year. We've had some good receivers here, but again, these guys that are coming back, we're like, do I remember him? I'm like, no, he wore that. It's like, man, he looks so much bigger and just mature. Again, back to that weight room of them putting on the weight and things like that. Javion on offense. And then we have some young guys up front. We're replacing a lot on our offensive line. Jackson Brooks coming back. I think he picked up an offer today from somewhere, 1 or 2 of them. He was a tackle. We moved him into guard. He's our only returning starter. But again, seeing him develop and these guys getting their eyes on him going, hey, so now this is a kid that's recruitable for us, picking up offers like that. And then Lysander actually picked up an NAU offer. He's only a freshman. Leo has an NAU offer. Again, I don't know if he picks up an offer without them seeing. They know he's a big kid. When they see him move at, the size that he is, they're like, wow, this is something special. So again, there's the showcases. These are awesome. They're helping the kids out. And I think it's fun for them to leave school and be around other programs and essentially practice like that. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's the best for them. And I think the only request, it sounds like you have after we talked to Bobby, is some ping pong next year. You can see the coaches doing the ping pong competition.
Exactly.
I actually kind of dominate at ping pong.
Hey, I'm willing. We can go play pickleball tomorrow. I'm willing to run the pickleball tomorrow, but ping pong, you need to give me a year. So next year in the spring showcase, we're gonna have the 50-yard line have a ping pong.
All right. Sign me up too.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, Kyle,
thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Send it back to you guys.
Hey, Spurge and Claudia, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear
Yeah, we
me?
can hear you, Cody.
Okay, tell Kyle Enders.
Something to Kyle.
He's been.
It's something about the
ducking.
pickleball, I guarantee you.
Telling me.
He's been
tell
asking me
him
to play pickleball somehow.
for a
He
year.
never shows up.
For
He's
a
always
year,
busy.
he always ducks.
Like he has a
has
job or
ducked.
something.
No,
Yep.
he's
Yep.
ducked pickleball, golf course, Oklahoma drills, everything. He has ducked.
Coach
So
Enders
you
knew
just-
right where that was
Like
going.
Golf
Ducked
course,
everything.
Oklahoma drills.
No, I don't.
pickleball,
No,
he's
I
hitting
don't.
all
I don't
that.
golf. I don't golf. Oklahoma drills not after the peck and the calf. Not
He's
happening.
Just
ducking
say you've
everything.
retired from golf. That's my husband's thing. He's like,
When I'm retired, I will golf.
there you go.
You're too young to golf, Cody.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoy up there.
Thank you, Coach. I was going to tell you, Cody, ping pong or pickleball? What would you better go? What would you rather go head to head against Coach Enders in?
Pickleball, I'm beating him 11-0.
Woo!
It's like not even,
Here we go.
Not even up for debate. Before the injury too, this whole like blew his bicep out. But I think
Not
he was
buying
just.
it.
I think he's just ducking. I think the entire time he's ducking. No, Kyle's awesome, man. I love Coach Enders, but yeah, it's supposedly and honestly, here's kind of a cool fact before we get to these other three teams. I don't know if you've seen this, Devin, but pickleball is really close to becoming an official AIA sport. I think it's on the docket
I did not hear that.
for 2028. So all these high schools are making club pickleballs, and Kyle Enders is one of the biggest pushers and advocators for it.
I love it.
So much that they had like a club pickleball championship in December. Kyle was a huge part of it. They had it locally here in Mesa. It was amazing. So, and the numbers are huge. I think some of these club pickleballs, they have like club pickleball teams have 30 to 40 students in it. So
Wow.
watch out for Arizona high school pickleball, I think, coming to the slate in 2028.
Gosh, the question is, so spring or fall?
I don't know. I mean,
Because you got tennis out there in spring.
but totally different court.
But it's different.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
so
think
you,
it's
so you
just
got to
going
find the
red.
facility to go do that somewhere else.
Go ran at some other places, but that was a heck of an interview by Claudia.
That was beautiful.
And Spurge there.
Hey, be sure to check out Bleacher Talk on Arizona Family Sports. Bleacher Talk airing every week throughout the week with Jordan Spurgeon, Claudia Collins. You'll see Eliav Goodbye on there. Other faces here from Sports 360 AZ making appearances. Now time for our final slate here at the Mesa Public School Spring Football Showcase. We have the original school, Mesa High School. We have the largest Mesa school with Mountain View. But we'll start things off with the smallest and the youngest, built in 1999, hosting approximately 1,846 students. The Skyline Coyotes, the 33rd ranked team in 5A to end last year after a 3-7 season, still looking to continue building, beat Dobson in their season opener, had a win on the road against South Mountain, also victorious in September against Trevor Brown, looking for their first state playoff appearance since 2017. That was a loss against a Hamilton team in 2017, so that was already difficult enough for them, but still trying to build that culture, build this foundation, and get this Mesa school back into the state tournament.
And they welcome the newest head coach of the district, but the third coach who is an alum of the school that they represent. That is head coach Joshua Roberts, longtime coach in Mesa Public Schools. He was assistant coach at Mountain View, assistant coach at Mesa High School the last couple of years. He is phenomenal, and the staff he put together at Skyline has a ton of Skyline roots. He added quite a few coaches who had either coached at Skyline prior or played with him at Skyline High School. I believe he's a Skyline grad of 2010. And some of those earlier teams at Skyline, the 2010s to 2016s, had some phenomenal talent. A couple of guys that actually played in the pros, played in the NFL. So you have guys who, once again, I talked about this with Brandon Large, talked about this with Kyle Enders. You have an individual who cares deeply about the program. There are situations in the state of Arizona where guys, I think, go to programs and it's like stops for them. Hey, I'm going to be here for a year or two, and then I want to elevate or go somewhere else, right? They're just kind of plug and play. These coaches here, they're here for the long run. Josh Roberts, I think he truly cares about changing this program for the better. He's already got quite a few kids to be able to come out to football this spring. I'm really excited for year one, plus the future of this Coyotes program under him.
The youngest program in the district, 1999, though it's been a little bit, but you're still behind the Mountain View Toros, the Mesa Jackrabbits, the Red Mountain Mountain Lions in terms of culture building, in terms of building the foundation of a program and making people care. But when you have people at the top when you have people at the helm who do have that care and that desire. You look at a school like Liberty, the youngest school in Peoria, and what they've done. You look at Castile, Arizona College Prep down in Chandler. The young schools, even though they might still be building that culture, once they get established, there's still the opportunity there to go and be the best in your district. What is the next step for Skyline to be that next youngster to step up?
Well, I think that's what's so important about having coaches on there that lived and breathed exactly what those kids are going through, that they were that kid 15 years ago at that school, practicing in that field, working out in the same weight room, right? So it's a bit of nostalgic feeling with that coaching staff, but also I think it's easier for the kids to relate. So when you're talking about building your own culture, I think when you have a situation like this, Devin, I think those kids buy in a little bit sooner, right? Because those coaches lived and breathed it. So now the next step for Skyline. Skyline's always kind of the last couple years, and I think the last couple years they've been at a situation where how do we get over that next hump? So last year going 3-7, had that district game against Dobson where they started with the win, and just unfortunately on that back half, that 5A schedule that they have, ALA Gilbert, Arizona College Prep, Campo, Mountain Point, these are pretty superior teams in 5A. I think you're looking just for a little bit more competition, a little bit more urge to compete. I know that staff is working that hard, like, hey, don't get down on yourself, and even if bad outcomes happen, how do we respond to that? So I think that's what that new staff is looking for, just kind of the response of those tough situations, a little bit more positive response. Can we get a game in region play against one of those juggernauts to really spark this program?
Saw number 40 out there getting some reps in, going into what will be his junior year, William Bastereros Torres. A 3.775 GPA, one of the higher ones here on the Skyline roster that we have. But a handful of different guys here. You have someone like Keelan Watson, honorable mention last year, all-region on defense in the 5A Santan region. Saw number 70 out there earlier going into his senior year, CJ Revior, and a two-time second-team all-region member here for Skyline. Who else are a few of those guys out here, Cody, that you look at Skyline to be those ones helping set that foundation going into 26?
I think when you look at this team coming back, I think it's a mixture of quite a bit of talent spread out between the 2027, 2028, and even 2029 classes. I think Josh Roberts, so he still teaches at Mesa, but he's made a really good effort of getting on that campus, Devin, and kind of not just seeing obviously what's there, but also recruiting the halls. I think a couple of these younger players that you have on this team, when a guy I look at like William Ballesteros, who's one of the kind of outside backer strong safeties in the box class of 2028, sitting in there to make impacts. I think with him, he's really looking at these younger kids because he wants to be with this program, say the next 5 to 10 years. He has to build with this young class. This senior class, they have some decent returners, but a lot of times I think it's trying to build with that junior and sophomore classes in here. And when you look at Skyline and you look at the players that are coming back, I think he can really attack that with the 28 and 29s.
Really looking forward to seeing what this team does. One of the only two programs in Mesa who have yet to win a state championship yet. Someone who knows a little bit about state championships, been a little bit though, the Mesa Jackrabbits, part of the 6A Southern region. Now, this is a program that's been around for a very, very long time. Let's look all the way back to when the school first started classes in 1899 is when they first started classes. The school officially opened in 1909. Since then, 4 state championships, 1960, 1963, 1990, 1992. Have not seen a state championship game, though, since 2009, back when they were in the 5A conference. Looking to get back there. Cody, boy, did it look like that they were going to have a chance to do so here in the 6A conference 1 year ago. Coach Ryan Felker had a slew of transfers come in. They really dominated out there, fell in the quarterfinals of the 6A tournament to Centennial. But when you look at a handful of these guys, someone who we were talking about earlier, the Anatemas, Kingston, we'll talk about first. We got some video on him in this 6'1", 190-pound, soon-to-be senior. Been great this year at a 3.8 GPA.
This kid is phenomenal. Really, when you're looking about impact players in the state of Arizona, he truly, to me, Devin, is one of the best two-way football players in 6A. There is nothing that this kid can't do. We're watching some of his offensive highlights out here. They're pushing him to the field in this trip sponge set, playing flex slot. And his speed, the athleticism, the hands, this kid is a freak out here on the offensive side of the ball. But guess what? I'm a defensive guy. I like his defensive tape better. His defensive film as here, it's so much offensive stuff. Him as a defensive player, he can play box safety. He can play back half center field at free safety. He can be in the box as an outside backer or fill force player. Here's him at outside corner against Bash's number 1. Watch the eyes, come and reach, bam, pops you. Tremendous tackler. He is amazing in coverage. What impresses me the most about Kingston and Atema is his ability to read and diagnose from that secondary position. He's got tremendous eyes, really, really talented eyes, and he comes up on force, and he plays full speed, everything he does. I get so excited watching this film and watching this kid play. To me, if I'm a college football recruiter, if I'm a college football coach, this is a guaranteed must-offer kid. Guaranteed. I don't say that a lot, but I look at character, I look at grades, I look at his film, I look at his weight room ethic, I look at body and the body frame, the type. He stays stride for stride with all these bachelor receivers who are all D1. To me, he's guaranteed. You got to recruit this kid.
And that 3.8 GPA screams even louder for Kingston. The senior, soon-to-be senior at 6'1", 190 pounds, has just been really, really stellar. And that Basha game, by the way, that was a 41-33 loss on Halloween night. That was an 8-point game against the team that everyone's trying to chase right now. Mesa has shown that they have the talent. They have the composure, too. There's a lot of questions when you get those transfers in. How do you plug them in? They plugged in just fine.
Yes, and I look at that Mesa team last year, and they received some of those transfers. I think they came in like week 4, week 5 or something like that. Kingston, Boogie, a couple of the linebackers and stuff. It just added so much depth at positions. And, Devin, they lost to Centennial, and I believe was at the semis. It was either the semis or the
quarterfinal
of 6A. And I look at that situation.
By 2.
If they had won that game, and they lost that game to a Hail Mary that will haunt Jeremy Hathcock, who was last year's Mesa head coach, I know for a long, long time. But the situation where they win that game and say they go on a run and then play Castile like Centennial did in the 6A finals, and Castile got the best of Centennial that day, I think we'll never know. I think if Mesa plays that game, I think Mesa probably wins that football game. They were so talented. So we go back to a conversation we had with these other 3 teams during the showcase. That 6A bracket is so competitive. I think Mesa has now entered the tier of that 5-12 where they'll play the play-in game in the open. If they don't win that, they can I'm not to say the word easily, but they would be a favorite to run the table in 6A.
We just saw some quarterback action. Out there was Derek Carr, different one. But they have some good options at quarterback. You have Carr at 6'3", and then we also have Kingston's brother, Boogie, also 6'3", 195 pounds as well. They're not going to be struggling at the quarterback position. They're going to be thriving there with the weapons that they have as well.
Those quarterbacks there, it's him, Derek Carr, who we've seen have a couple starting games under his belt when Boogie went out last year. Even before he got there, Derek was the starting quarterback. They have so much talent on the outside. It is like quarterback heaven out there for Jackrabbit Nation.
So for Mesa, you talk about them being in that next group here. And this is a campus of 3,188 students. There's already such a great sample size there. Then you get these really talented transfers come in last year, plug in so well, and really help elevate this Mesa program. What is that next step to get them? I mean, I know when you look down at that roster, you're not thinking a 6A championship. You're looking at making that open division. What is going to be their goals this year? What's going to be the opportunity for them to go and make that happen and find that open division, be top 12 ranked in 6A?
Well, they have a very tough schedule. I think it's one of the top 5 schedules when you look at strength of schedule in the state. Ryan Felker, though, is no stranger to playing the best of the best. Ryan Felker, longtime coach at MCC. Prior to that, he was with Scottsdale Community College. And those MCC teams, he was head coach for Devin. They were some of the best teams in all of JUCO. So he looks forward to this. Week 1 for them, they go play Liberty. They play the Lions. So I think when you look at that, what I want to see from Mesa is how they play that game. You know Liberty better than any media member in the state. How many times have you seen a team play Liberty to start the year and lose, 56-0, 49-7, like really get wiped? I mean, you prepare so many months and then just get blown out. How many times have you seen teams just kind of get derailed because of that? A lot.
And there's other teams that you look at and go, you almost have to ignore week 1 playing Liberty.
Yes.
A team like ALA Queen Creek went out
Yes.
early a couple years ago, got destroyed, and
Yeah.
well, they're going to be an open division team that year anyway.
Mountain View did it last year.
Yes.
They went out to Liberty, had a tough time. the Lions are the Lions, but they did not let him derail them. That's what I want to see from Mesa. One, how do you compete in that game? Hey, why not week 1? Who knows what happens, right? Like, go have a chance. Go try to win that football game. But if you take it under the chin, how do you respond to it? Knowing Coach Felker, knowing the staff he put together, here's a nugget. His offensive line coach, Sean Glowden, Coach Glow, longtime line coach at Liberty High School. He is officially on staff at Mesa High School, so he knows Liberty better than anybody. I want to see how they perform in that game, but more importantly, if they lose, I want to see how they respond.
Gosh, I remember back in the day, I don't know, 2019 maybe, it was Liberty Brophy 9-6 in the first week. That's not what Liberty week 1 games look like anymore, but when you have a tough schedule like that, we talked about earlier, every loss is an opportunity to learn. And when you have these athletes coming in week 1, you're still learning exactly how you play with their teammates, even when that chemistry is there. Another position guide to look at, though, Cameron Williams. This young man playing wide receiver and DB at 6'1", 190 pounds, a 3.5 GPA, is another one on both sides of the ball who's going to be a key to this team's success.
Yeah, I think when you look at 6A football, you don't see a ton of two-way guys. Coach Felker and Mesa, they don't care. They're going to play the best, and that's what Cameron Williams brings to the table. I think when you see him at the receiver position, he can line up on the outside, he can line up on the slot. He's very versatile. Watch him climb to the second level. Watch him attack the football at its high point right there. I love Cameron Williams' tape. There's a reason why he's got a slew of Division I offers. I think he plays with confidence. I think that athleticism is on full display. You see him coming over the middle, catching some passes in traffic, running through some would-be tacklers. It's a playoff game against Centennial, representing the 6A title game. Toughness, athleticism. It's another kid that I think superb in the back half too. Him playing this deep safety position, kind of just ball hawking and tracks the ball really nicely, pinning the wide receiver in the back there, getting a great read. Cameron Williams can do it all. Having him and Kingston and Atema both being top two-way players in the state playing next to each other, that is a luxury to have if you are Mesa High School.
Mesa eyeballing a state championship in 2026. We'll talk more about these individual teams once they get into the sevens matchups as well. For now, we're going to move on to one of the greatest dynasties in the state of Arizona. They currently rank 7th all-time in state championship game appearances, with 14 of them the Mountain View Toros, 8-time state champions between 1978 and 2002. It's been a hot minute here, and they are right now moving on over to the 6A conference state runner-up in 2024, still trying to build more of that camaraderie, build more of that foundation back, and add on to what is already such a rich legacy here at Mountain View.
We'll talk so much about the Toros here this afternoon. Andy Litton is phenomenal. He's really a top coach in the state of Arizona. He's done such a great job. I'm excited to dip into a lot of their players too, but that Mountain View staff and community is really, really special. Andy Litton is an amazing head football coach.
As you mentioned, didn't score against Liberty in week 1. And they move on and did a great job in the postseason. We'll dig in a little bit deeper, but first and foremost, are we going down in the studio? Is it studio or is it on sideline? In the studio.
Surprise! It's here in the studio. Devin, Cody, great job up there as always. Joining us now, Brandon Large, head coach here at Westwood, the host school for this showcase. And it's the second year having this full showcase now with every school in the district. We were talking as we were walking in, feels like there's more college coaches this year. It feels like there's more buy-in. It feels like it's an even bigger deal already. What's it been like putting this on and putting your blood, sweat, and tears into it?
It's been great having the support from the district superintendency and district AD level. It's been really awesome to kind of take it and run with it and try and make it bigger and better in year 2, and I think we've done that. Got a lot of colleges out there, and I think hopefully it transfers over and gives our students in our district some more opportunities.
We've spoken a lot about the importance of doing showcases like this to get eyes on maybe those guys that aren't, going to be seen unless coaches come out to big things like this. Who are some of the guys on your team that you're excited that college coaches are having the opportunity to see today?
Yeah, so some of the guys that have kind of stepped up and have kind of shown out a little bit today and have gotten some recognition from some of the coaches are Spencer Blotter. He's a strong safety player. This is going to be his third year starting for us on varsity. He caught a lot of attention out there. A kid named Bassett Ward, a receiver, caught a lot of eyes. People were looking at him and asking a lot of questions about him, and that's awesome. Obviously, we have the guys who are bigger recruits and who are getting looked at nationally, but this event is awesome to get those other guys some eyes on them, and really all the guys in the district eyes on them. So.
Yeah, no, that's what it's about, and I think it's a cool thing too for us and for them to see, even things like the facilities here at Mesa. Now we're sitting in what's going to be your brand new film room, and I know chairs are coming in here soon. The nice chairs to watch this. Just being here and seeing this continued growth from these showcases, from all the facilities throughout the district, and right here specifically at Westwood. How important is that for you and what you're trying to build here?
That's been awesome. So I'm going on my 5th season. My first year we got the new field, the turf field. The next year we got a new weight room. The next year we got a new scoreboard. This year we got a new locker room. We're getting the new classroom meeting room.
It's a Christmas list every
year.
year.
Next year at this point.
So it was kind of cool when I got hired. They said, "Give me your wish list. If you could get anything done here, what would it be?" And this was this classroom was like the last thing on my list. And like I said, the district is really putting all sorts of resources and writing grants and finding ways to make things like this happen in a time where funding and education is not ideal, and so they're finding creative ways to make things like this happen, and it's happening all over the district too. Everybody in the district's facilities are getting upgraded, and it's been really, really awesome. Yeah.
I'd like for someone to ask for my wish list. That'd be nice.
For your house?
Yeah, exactly. Just anything.
Yeah. Like a new kitchen. Yeah.
Actually, yes, that's top of the wish list, but we won't get into that. No, I do want to ask though, I mean, this time of year, it's really, fun for rebuilding, kind of getting a preview for what the fall might look like for you. What are some of those pieces that are exciting you about, the team you see coming up next season?
Yeah, so last year we had a good season. We made the playoffs for the first time in 12 years, a long time. It was a really great season. We lose a lot of guys on defense, so we're excited to see some of these younger guys on defense really step up and take on some leadership roles. We're excited to have guys like Spencer Blotter back and Nate Willis back, Warren Smithson, but we bring a lot of new faces in on defense. So this is right now is an exciting time for us to see what those guys can do. And then offensively, we return a lot of guys. We lose our quarterback, who is a very, very important piece for us. But we have 2 kids right now, Jackson Anderson, who's going to be a senior, and Gavin Cleve, who's going to be a junior. They're competing for it, and awesome kids who are Westwood through and through, and are doing everything that they can to put themselves in a position to be the starting quarterback. And I think that they're going to be successful whichever way we go. We're going to have a good guy there, so that's exciting. Offensive line wise, we bring back a lot of guys there, so we're excited about that. We bring back the 6A leading rusher in Keyshawn Barkas, who has committed to Nevada. And so it's exciting to have him back. We bring back our top 2 receivers from last year as well. So like I said, offensively, we bring back a lot of pieces. Some small pieces that were very important to us that we have to replace, but we bring back some big ones. So we're excited for that.
I want to pick your brain here on this too. So earlier we had Brady Pondon, and obviously he's been your AD now for a little bit, and now he's moving this summer into the role of district AD.
Yeah.
Just how excited are you for him, and just seeing that he's going to be on that path now?
Yeah. So Brady's been amazing. Brady was here when I got hired and has done so much for me specifically, but for the football program and for the entire athletic program. Brady has done so much, and so we're excited for him to get that opportunity to move up to the district level, knowing that he's a Westwood guy, right? He lives in the Westwood community. His kids are going to go to Westwood. That also brings some excitement too, right? To have a Westwood guy going up there to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna miss having the day-to-day interactions with him. But I know he'll be at football games on Thursday and Friday nights watching his son. I know he'll be around at all of the events, and so super excited for that opportunity, but Westwood's going to miss him. We're excited for the new guy that we're getting. Tevin Rutherford, he's going to do a good job. He's coming from Maricopa. He's a former head football coach, so he understands football. He gets it.
Okay.
And I think he's going to hit the ground running, and he'll have a lot of support with Brady moving up to the district level, and then Tommy Eubanks still being around as well. Tevin's going to have all the support he'll need, so we're excited for him.
You brought something up that I think we talk about every time we're having a conversation, but there's a family tree, I feel like, at Westwood, and it's, if you went to Westwood, your kids go to Westwood. It almost feels that way. Who are some of those guys maybe that we should be thinking about? Oh, they're, dad played football here or something like that. There's always.
Shout out Bruce Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's always a little bit of that
Are you
here.
talking about guys on the football team?
I mean, I guess just talk about the importance of being a community member in Westwood, because I feel like even across Mesa School District, I feel like that is a trend. Like people that grow up in Mesa stay in Mesa.
Yeah. Westwood's a very, very unique community, and where the people who grew up here, the people who graduated from Westwood, they love Westwood and they love this area. A lot of people might think, oh, why West Mesa, right? There's nicer areas of Mesa, but the people who live here, they understand the special, I guess, feeling and community that we have here. And so we have several guys on the team whose dads all played football here. Our receiver, Bassett, who I was just talking about, Bassett Ward, we're expecting big things out of him, and he's caught a lot of attention from these college coaches. His dad was on the 1988 state championship team here as a receiver, played football at Utah State.
See, I knew there was going to be connections like this. All right, keep going.
Moved back here. Bassett's the youngest in their family, but all of his kids have gone to school here. His wife's from here. Gavin Glebe, the kid that's competing to be a quarterback, his mom went to school here. She was a year older than me. Jackson Anderson, the other kid that's competing to be a quarterback, his dad went to school here and his mom went to school here. There's so many of them. Spencer Blotter, his mom, the safety kid, his mom went to school here. Warren Smithson is a strong safety kid. His dad went to school here. I think
that's a testament to
Hudson
the
Wright,
community.
Hudson Wright, our center, his dad was on the 02 team that was very, very good. It was a defensive lineman. So there's so many of them that
and I feel like right now we're in a time where everybody's transferring. They're going across the valley to go to a different school. So it's really cool that your community is staying here, and I think it is kind of unique to Mesa School District.
That's something that I've, as an alumni and as a head coach, when I came in here, was like, I just really want to just build a wall around our community and make sure that we keep these kids here and make sure that they feel loved and that they grow up wanting to be right here.
Yeah, no, that's important. And then last thing I got for you, talked about getting everything on your wish list here, facilities-wise. So it sounds like Bobby Newcomb has said he can beat all of his sons in ping pong, and that turned into, can you beat all the coaches? He said yes. Kyle Enders takes that as a challenge. So next year, do we need a ping pong table at the 50-yard line during the showcase, and are you involved in that?
I'm not a big ping pong guy, but I will. I do love to play basketball, so I'd love to go out and
you can pull a Kenny Dillingham, get a hoop out in the middle of the showcase, play some hoops or something.
Yeah, I'll challenge Kenny to a one-on-one matchup.
I love it. Awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you taking the time. We love being here, involved in this event, and thanks so much for hosting. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you guys for being here. This is awesome. We love having you guys.
Absolutely. Cody Cameron, I hear you got somebody up there in the booth with you. How are things going up there?
It's always good out here, Spurge, and yes, we do. And this is kind of awesome for me being an NAU alum, because here we are, recruiting coordinator and assistant defensive backs coach Stephon Peters from the NAU Lumberjack coaching staff out here recruiting in person at the Mesa Showcase. So, Coach Peters, I bring you guys in. You guys are obviously very active in recruiting the Valley, but you guys have a really good staff. I know you guys just kind of wrapped up spring ball. So right now, what are you guys looking for in terms of these showcases and kind of overall? I know you guys have some huge plans for June, so floor is yours. Kind of promote everything from now until the next 6 weeks in NAU football.
Yeah, so right now with us, we got coaches on the road, and obviously Arizona, California at different showcases. But obviously being in the home state, recruiting the home state is super big for us. We want to keep the best kids in the home state, and coming out here for the showcase of 2027, 28, 29 kids. Just seeing them compete and be team players and do different things like that is always great to see. And then coming up for us in June is really, really big for us. We got camp season. We have our individual camps June 7th, June 14th. Then we have our mega camps June 18th and 19th. And last year was absolutely huge for us. 70% of our roster from this past signing class was up at camp. So we offer a lot of kids at camp. Kids come on campus, get to meet our coaching staff, see our facilities, and different things like that. So at Mega Camp last year, too, we had over 12,000 kids. So
That's awesome.
It was absolutely huge for us. Seeing kids from Arizona, California, Vegas, Utah, just different kids on the West Coast. Lots of talent.
And I think for parents, that is such an important thing to hear.
Yeah.
70% of the kids that you guys took went to one of the camps. I mean, that's a massive percentage. I've talked to Tim Roshman, which, shout out Tim, but general manager now in NAU football. Amazing for him. And talking to head coach, Coach Wright as well, about camp season. One, I think the kids get up there, they can see if it's a fit. Talking to so many college coaches about, is this the right fit for them going up there? They see the facilities, which are beautiful, but also the entire staff can evaluate in person. Why are those camps, whether it be team 7-on-7s, which so many of our Arizona teams take advantage of, the mega camps, the individual camps, why is that so important to go to for the recruiting aspect for you guys?
It just knocks out that live evaluation. That's one of the steps in the recruitment process. So just them getting up on campus, getting one-on-one individualized coaching from that position coach at our indie camps and our mega camp. And then for those team 7-on-7 too, you see how a person is as a teammate, who they are as a leader, who they are around, like I said, their peers and different things like that. So those are huge getting up to campus, just for the camps, the 7-on-7s, anything that you do team related and get up to campus. And now our whole staff gets to see you. There's nothing like a stamp of approval from Coach Wright, Coach Kendall, Coach Brown. It's like, this kid, we can't let him leave the state of Arizona. Or we can't let this kid not leave here without signing. So those camps are huge to get up on campus.
Coach Peters here, recruiting coordinator at NAU football. And Coach, you're from a unique situation. You and Tim, where you actually coached Arizona high school football. You're a part of Liberty staff, won state titles, learning under Colin Thomas, one of the best head coaches in the state of Arizona. How have you taken what you learned at Liberty now to the college ranks and in terms of evaluating? Because I think it's unique where you guys know a high school kid at 16 and potentially what they could become at 18 to 19 because you guys coached it. You saw it. What are you looking for? What traits are you looking for when you evaluate and recruit high school talent?
I think just like one big thing is like the structure that they come from. I think is really big just in the high schools of the weight room aspect, of the field dynamic aspect. How are they taking coaching? How are they coaching their other teammates on the field as well? There's different things of obviously size, what's in their frame, their speed. Obviously doing track's a super huge thing, having good track times. But being able to come from high school to college, I was really grateful at working at Liberty under Coach Thomas, one of the most structured coaches I've ever been around. So he really helped me take that jump and that development to the next level of just being super detail-oriented and process-driven, and then just being able to just let your work and not doing all the talking just get you to where you want to go.
I love that. So any high school players out there that want to escape the heat and go to some really good camps, head up to Flagstaff in the month of June. Go see Coach Peters and the rest of the NAU football staff. Coach, I appreciate your time, man.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
As we transition now back to the field here, the second round of Mesa Public Schools, as we let Coach Peters take down the steps and go back to recruiting on headset back here, Mr. Devin Henry. Devin, welcome back.
Glad to be back. No, these guys, I was just sitting over there. No, I love how much we're getting from different college perspectives. But I mean, a lot of these guys are saying the same thing, whether it's about grades, whether it's about living situations, and especially what they're looking for. So as you mentioned earlier, just how spectacular being able to understand that view, especially as you mentioned earlier with parents who aren't going to have those interactions with recruiters, what they are actually looking for. And as he talked about the structure of high school football, right? As a parent, you're not really going to be thinking about that when you're trying to help your kid get recruited and get that deal to get them hopefully one day a free ride in college and potentially career after that as well.
Well, another thing is too is like we've heard so many cases of parents telling high school coaches, hey, my son doesn't need to run track. My son doesn't need to go in the classroom. It's January. He needs to be out at Club 7s. He needs to, no, he's not, forget that math class. He doesn't need it. Forget track. Guess what, guys? Those advice that your high school coaches are giving, a lot of times it's not opinions from them.
Wow, how would you know?
From the college coaches that they talk to. So, Devin, to your point, I love that we get these live interviews at these situations here, because from word of mouth, the individuals, the college coaches that are recruiting your kids, they are the ones in charge of creating opportunity for your kids to not just play college football, but also get 4-year degrees at these institutions. They are the ones reiterating the same thing your high school coaches are saying. Your high school coaches are not the bad guys. They are not. As much as you want them to be, they are amazing, and they're out there looking for the kids. And so to hear the college coaches go, no, track's important. We only recruit kids that run track. No, grades are important. We don't take kids that are bad in the classroom. We only take kids that have good character, that don't cause issues in the classrooms. It's refreshing to hear.
Talent is only one barometer. We'll speak a little bit more towards that as we'll head downstairs as well as we watch some more warm-up, more practice here, more drills. LAF Goodbye has more for us downstairs on the sidelines.
That's right, Devin. I'm here with Ripon wide receivers coach Austin Smith. Coach, we're here, sidelines. You get to talk with the guys. After, you see this name on a piece of paper, you see this film. What's it like to actually face-to-face chat a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice, right? Because it's always tough when you're just looking at a piece of paper or just watching film. And a big part of, how we recruit here at Ripon is relationships, right? And so building that relationship in face and getting to know these guys just on a more of a personal level than just numbers and who they look like, right? It's really special for us and helps us a lot in the process, and I think it really impacts the recruiting process itself.
So we hear a lot in business in general, connections, right? Who you know. That's so different in football, right? So how do you go about, I guess, advice about building those connections?
Yeah, I think it's never be afraid to say something, right? Always look for somebody to build and branch off of, because you never know where somebody's going to end up, right? And I think that's a big thing with coaching, and not in, like you said, not just in coaching, but in life. And especially when you're recruiting somebody, you never know, you're going to talk to one kid who knows another kid, right? And that goes with, you talk to one high school coach who maybe doesn't have a kid for you, but he knows kids in the area. So I think it's just not being afraid to say something.
And how have you seen that be a factor? Because that's interesting, right? Other coaches helping each other, like, listen, I don't have a guy for you, but this guy does. How often does that really happen? Because naturally it's all competitive, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it happens more than you probably think. This is a big network of really, I call it a family of coaches, right? Because everybody wants everybody to succeed at the end of the day. Now, there is a level of competition to it, right? You always want your kid. But I think where you really see it the most is when you're at a different level, there's D1, D3, all the different levels, right? They may not have kids that fit you, but they know kids, right? And then ultimately everybody wants, especially when you're a high school coach, they want your kid to play college football, right? And so if we can give them that opportunity, it helps us out and it helps the kid out.
So when you come out here for recruiting, you have the guys you want to see. How do you balance that with some surprises or, having an open mind about what you just might see out here?
Yeah, I think it's a good balance, right? You find these kids before and you're like, hey, I got to talk to these kids. But I think there's also, this is a great example of it. You're watching and somebody sticks out and, kind of goes back to just go say something, right? You never know whether that kid has a bunch of offers or no offers, right? You never know until you say something. And for me personally, right, I always want to keep an open mind to everything, especially with recruiting, because you get so fixated on certain kids, you're going to blind yourself to the kid that kind of go under the radar a little bit.
So you say sticks out, and that stuck out to me. When you say that term, what's something that can make a player stick out to you?
Yeah, I think obviously, people look at the size and the measurables, right? But I think, the small things, right? How they interact in lines, how they react after a bad play. I think that's a big thing. We get to see here, which is really cool, is they do the 7-on-7s, they do the live rep, the 1-on-1s. So how's he reacting when stuff's not going his way? Because that's kind of how life is, right? And it's going to be how football is. So I think that's a big thing that I look for in general.
And when you come to these events, you just mentioned, they don't all have the same drills. What are some things that you just gotta see when you come here?
Yeah, sure. I think a big one is I want to see how the kid moves, right? And so whether that's in space with somebody on him, I think a big one is 1-on-1s when I'm looking at skill specifically stuff. But then when it goes to like big guys in O-line, right, is how are they reacting to moving somebody else, right? Because the biggest thing is you can move a sled or a pad, but they're only going to give you so good of a look instead of a live rep, So I think biggest thing is getting as many live reps as possible.
And when it goes about evaluating potential. That's always tough, right? Because you got to look into the future somehow. What are some of your little notes that you tell yourself about evaluating the future of a player, what they can be?
Sure, yeah. I wish I had a crystal ball I could see.
Yeah, right.
But no, I think a big thing is one, like, can I see this player being able to be developed, right? Is he coachable? And that's kind of goes back to how's he reacting in lines? How's he reacting to the coaching he's getting from his coaches, right? And then two, right? Is there some set of a foundation, right? Is there a football foundation? And what I mean by that is does he understand the core concepts, like running when the verbiage? I hear the verbiage talked out here, right? Running certain routes, moving in space, because that's my job is to coach. And so I always tell my players this when I'm coaching them and say, I take care of the coaching part. That's why I put on the coaching hat. You bring what you got, and I'll do the rest.
Now, when you stack up Arizona with other states, how college ready are these guys?
Yeah, I think it's one of the blessings I got when I got to take over Arizona as a recruiting state, because these kids can play. And it's always a good match because there's a bunch of kids out here too. I mean, there's high schools everywhere, so it makes it fun for recruiting, right? Because I'm always going one place to another. But for that, it's like, hey, I got a big pool of kids who it's not like a big pool of kids who I think, I'm going to have to put a lot into. It's a lot of kids who I think can impact us early on.
And, we just talked a little bit about how the high school coaches can work together. How do y'all recruiters sometimes look out for each other when you kind of know what the other guy's looking for, right?
Yeah, I think, here's a good example when I'm talking to other coaches from colleges and you're asking, hey, who are you looking at? What kind of areas are you recruiting this coming class, right? You get a little branch and, it's always good to get a different set of eyes on things, right? Because I may see something that I'm like, oh, I think he's good at. Another coach, hey, get a set of eyes. Hey, look at this, right? So I think it's a good balance to be able to bounce off just other college coaches that have the same kind of mindset of trying to find players that can play.
All right, last one for you, Coach. You're here, you get a chance to really soak in, first of all, the weather, right? First of all, the weather. But for those who don't know, because, parents are watching, Arizona high school athletes are watching, what should they know about Ripon?
Yeah, I think, Ripon College here, we're in Wisconsin, so it's a big thing, right? So the weather out here, great, right? But a big thing about us and what I love when I got hired here is it's a big relationship, right? You're not just going to come to Ripon College and be a number. You're going to be somebody who we pour into, and we want you to succeed, in football for sure, but in life in general. And you're going to find those relationships not just with the coaching staff, but with your players and with the community around you. And I think, welcome you in. The Midwest feels the real thing. Good old Midwest people are super nice. So, I love it. And I think that one thing that you need to know, right, is we're going to welcome you more than just being a number.
Well, we're going to keep chugging along out here. Back to you.
Thank you, Elio. I wanted to look up. All right, so let's see here. He said it's beautiful here. Ripon, Wisconsin, weather. Cody, what do you think the weather is right now? Because he said it was beautiful, and I was like, I bet it is.
Okay, so Ripon, it's a nice day across the country, maybe, but Wisconsin, I'm going to go currently 41 degrees with a 32-degree wind chill.
That's pretty good. No, not quite. It's 49.
Oh, that was pretty
That's
close.
pretty dang close,
Let's
though.
go.
That's a wide margin there.
And I had the wind chill, too. So
you did.
If you go to weather.com, I bet you we're going to get some.
Feels like 45.
Regardless, though, I'm telling you, like asking you questions in the first time, these coaches love recruiting here because we
It's
have
like
the
vacation.
best weather in the country. The best. I was talking to the Montana State coach down there. He just moved to Bozeman in January. I'm like, is it good to be back? He coached at ASU a couple of years ago. He goes, absolutely. It's 30 degrees in Bozeman, and I don't like going outside. So all these guys really made Arizona a recruiting hotbed because these coaches come out here, have a time of their lives.
We're looking right now at the trenches of the Mountain View Toros. A 6-4 season 1 year ago under head coach Andy Liddon was the number 8 seed in the Open, lost in the quarterfinals to number 1 Hamilton. 14 state championship appearances, that's 7th all time in the state of Arizona. 6-4 sounds like, oh man, just above 500. Those losses: Liberty, Basha, Red Mountain by 1, ALA Queen Creek by 2. Those were in back-to-back weeks. That wicked double overtime thrilling win on the road at Highland to end the year, and lost to Hamilton in that open quarterfinal by a mere 8 points. And part of the reason why this team is so good, the trenches. Part of the reason why someone like Ty Kennedy has 19 Division I offers, Cody, because he's a 3.8 GPA. And, sir, we have offensive line film. I love this. We got film on an offensive lineman here, Cody.
Bring the beef. A Mountain View offensive line that notoriously hasn't been huge, so to speak, and we're watching him on film there with the kick step. Hasn't been huge. Ty Kennedy is one of those guys that brings physicality. Great job getting in the second level there on a pancake, and he is the heart and soul of that offensive line group. The other thing about that group that's so impressive, too, is they're so smart. Such an intelligent group. They play to the whistle, and they are ferocious. Andy Litton and his staff kind of teach that violent aspect because for a lot of them, they are truly undersized compared to the Chandler Unified School District defensive line, but they play just as tough. And I think what they've been able to do offensively since Coach Litton has gotten here a couple years ago has really, really started with tremendous offensive line play. And here's the other thing. Watching Ty Kennedy here, I think what college coaches love most about him is his athleticism, his ability to get to that second level, whether that's to seal an inside linebacker, heck, even all the way get to the secondary. Watch them on there on a play side pull, get there, situate his hips, and everything's powerful punch there. Their quarterback, Brady Goodman, was one of the top quarterbacks in the state the last couple of years. A big reason to that was there on his blind side, Ty Kennedy making sure protection was always perfect.
And this is another program that we talk about. Who's that next group besides those top four? Who's chasing them with a chance to one day overtake them, have a chance at the Open Division, go and win a 6A championship? This is a program that was that 90s dynasty, championships in 93, 96, 97, and 99, and then in 2002 as well. But since then, no state title, was the runner-up back in 2024, has the seventh most state championship game appearances in the state of Arizona. What is next for this group here to make that next leap and bound to go from the quarterfinals 1 year ago and fight for that championship in 2026?
I honestly think these guys are pretty close. When we talk about them in Red Mountain, to me it's been probably the best rivalry game the last couple of years because they've been so neck and neck. It's been situations where they've played each other in the regular season. Team A won, and then they played each other in the playoffs, and Team B won. Plus, Battle of Brown Road's really, really special. The thing about Mountain View that makes them close is, once again, they have things in unison right now with continuity. They have continuity with Andy Litton. They have continuity in the weight room. When you go to Mountain View and you go see their wall of champions and all these things, Mountain View football means a lot to a ton of that community. It's also one of the last backyard schools, Devin, meaning you have people that live in that community that wouldn't even think about sending their kids anywhere else. In a state that is open enrollment, you still have Mountain View, that section there. Mountain View kids go to Mountain View. Their parents who graduated from Mountain View, they go to Mountain View. Toros, the Toros are all in on North Mesa community.
Toros just wrapped up their 7-on-7 drills just then, and another member of this team, how about this, a 3.9 GPA, great physical downhill guy at 6'1", 210, linebacker tight end Preston Patterson, another one of those key guys you can put on both offense and defense, going to help lead this team on both sides of the ball.
But how about this? Andy Litton's notes for Preston Patterson, all caps, physical downhill player. He is a monster. When you talk about playmakers, a lot of times you talk about the skill position on the offensive side. But how about this coming from the linebacker room? Watch him hunt down the quarterback. Just look good pad level. The violent technique, driving his hips through contact. He's one of the good ones here. I think he's a really smart football player. He's really well coached. Just watch him hunting down the running back, no false steps from that linebacker room, and he plays with this tenacity down here on the goal line, shedding blocks. Look at that, getting his nose in the trough, driving his hips through contact there. Preston Patterson will be a top linebacker in all of 6A next fall.
And talk about Patterson, who's not just a great linebacker. He can go and play offense for the tight end position. Another tight end that I want to talk about, too, Max Germain. Going to a senior season next year. Division I baseball player is in his future. Really big, strong, physical guy, and someone that Coach Lynn knows is someone with really good hands. This is somewhere where you have a lot of great guys you can plug in anywhere and have the opportunity to play guys either both ways if you want, or in 6A you don't need to, because when you have star talent like this, those are the guys not just leading the way offensively, defensively, but in the locker room and on the sideline too.
When you talk to Mountain View coaches about Max Germain, they all say the same thing. He's one of the best athletes on campus. Max Germain, to me, from the tight end position, is so talented in terms of the scheme. Andy Litton's scheme utilizes tight ends, whether he's flexed out in a trip sport formation or he's lined up next to the tackle, which is, the old school tight end, I guess, now, in the new era of football. Tremendous blocker, great in pass protection, but also a lot of the bootleg waggles that Mountain View loves to run. He is so good at chipping off the end and then leaking out an arrow, corner, whatever it may be, dragging across the field on a cross. Big body tight end, sure-handed, tremendous athlete. Max Germain is going to be a very, very special football player.
And talking about spring sports, not just here in spring ball, but shout out to the Toros girls softball team. The number 10 seed has yet to lose. They will be on the road to take on number 2 Dedrick Vista in the, I think that's the semifinals or quarterfinals by now in softball. And then their volleyball team in the 6A conference, they'll be one of the top 8 bids. They will not be in a playing game. They're going straight to a home game in the opening round of the volleyball tournament.
You cannot have your school be listed School of Champions and not have tremendous athletic programs all around it. That's exactly what Mountain View High School is.
This is a school that only opened up in 1976. I know that is quite a long way away, but you have schools with legacies in the 1800s like Peoria, like Brophy, like Mesa High School here, whose roots started in 1899, but a school of champions that's only been around for 50 years now. It's because of the legacy and the culture they create, not just at this sport or that sport, but across the board.
And that's why I think a school like that, continuity is so important, and truly doing the backyard positions is absolutely amazing, Devin. And I'm getting word that we got an interview down on the sidelines with Mr. Eliav Gabai. Eliav, take it away.
Thanks, guys. That's right. I'm here with Kyle Olin, the assistant offensive line coach for Colorado Mesa. Coach, when you're looking at these O-linemen right here, we're seeing some big bodies over here. What are some of those intangibles that you look for?
Just obviously, size, hip mobility, their foot speed, and just guys that can compete. I feel like that's super important. Yeah.
And when you've had conversations with the guys here on the sidelines, how have those gone?
They've gone good. We're just trying to introduce ourselves to the university and, just get their information and, contact them on Twitter, get their phone number, all that good stuff.
And for those who don't know about Colorado Mesa, what should they know?
We're up. We're in the RMAC up in Grand Junction. We're coming for that RMAC championship, and we're building something special down there.
What's the play style, if you could describe it for anyone who would think about joining the squad?
Just rough and tough. We're going to run the ball right at your face. We're going to play strong defense. We're going to come downhill and we're going to hit you.
And coming down to Phoenix and Arizona in general when it comes to this, recruiting, how have you kind of developed your own recruiting process? Obviously, moving around so much and seeing so many faces, have you kind of tried to dwindle it down for yourself?
You try to group the schools together by day. You contact the coaches before, get their prospect list, find those kids on Twitter, watch their tape, evaluate them, go meet them in person, and then obviously, you see them out here, and then you're just building that relationship with them.
And what have you noticed is kind of an underrated part that either parents or students don't think about enough when they think about recruiting?
I think grades. I think so many kids, see the glitz and glamour of D1 and the NIL money and full ride scholarships. You got to have grades. You got to be eligible. You got to be a qualifier out of high school. And I think, through social media and all this stuff on Twitter and on TV, they forget, you're playing football to get your education, and that's the most important thing.
No doubt. And now, we've seen so much from kids. They start the Twitter accounts way young and all that. When you look at someone's, let's just say straight up the social media accounts, what's that kind of brand that you think they should be building when they start thinking about that kind of thing?
I mean, you want everything clean and crisp. You don't want to have anything stupid on there.
Right.
You doing anything that could put yourself in a position to where a coach wouldn't want to touch you. You want it to be professional. And just being wary of that. I think a lot of kids, get in the habit of, looking at all the culture and stuff, what their friends are doing, and they're trying to set themselves apart and get to that next level. So just being cognizant of that.
Last one here for you, Coach. What do you enjoy most about a day like today?
Just getting out here and seeing kids compete, having fun. I think so many kids, see this as a business nowadays. And we do this to have fun, for them to have fun. And then all the other stuff comes after.
Thanks, Coach Olin. Back to y'all up in the booth.
All right, we are back up here in the booth, Cody Cameron, and alongside me, I'm so excited for this title because I didn't get to say it last year, and now I get to say it. Director of Athletics. You heard that correctly at Lake Forest College. How amazing. That's just amazing.
That's great.
Director of Athletics and head football coach. Told me 7 flights in 12 days. I just think you're getting your credit card reward points in and all that stuff, which is all fun.
United loves
Dandy.
me right now. Give them tons of flights.
That's amazing. Well, you're the poster child for United.
I'm something. Poster child for something.
The reason why we have Coach Catanzaro up here, Lake Forest football camp, is this year 5? What year is this?
Year 5, yeah.
Year 5 of the Lake Forest football camp. No one does it better than this man right here. I saw the graphic today, 30-plus colleges in attendance, even more coaches because a lot of those schools bring in 2 or 3 coaches, ton of athletes, but most importantly, a tremendous opportunity for student athletes to get recruited in person by college coaches who actually recruit Arizona kids. Large majority, big percentage of these recruiting classes come from kids that went to that camp. My first question to you, because we talked about this last year, but even more so right now, when you envisioned doing this is quite some time ago now, to the amount that it's blown up, and everybody always talks about it, can't wait for the Lake Forest camp, can't wait for the Lake Forest camp, have to go to Lake Forest camp. Did you envision it to be this big, this successful?
No, I mean, to be honest, when we started this, for the first couple of years, we had about 150 to 200 kids that first year. The next year it went to 400, then it went to 600. We capped it. We're like, we can't go any more than that. There's only 3 fields. We got to make sure we have enough kids getting reps. And one of my things is, though, they're getting a lot of reps, and we're doing football drills that the coaches want to evaluate. This is not a combine where we're doing 40s and measurements and all that. We're getting them out there doing the drills that the coaches want to see so they can say, hey, does this kid look like the kids I have on my campus? I think because we do that, and the schools that we bring down, I think, as you said 30, I think we're at 43 right now. Just getting a number of kids to come, or colleges to come here and bring Arizona's talent out beyond here. And I think that's been a big thing. I always celebrate we've got the most. We've got 53 kids from Arizona on the team, but I can't recruit every kid that comes to the camp. So let's find places for those kids to go play. And so we open it up to everybody. There's never been anybody told no. And now you're starting to see more of the FCS programs come down here because they're allowed to. And so we're excited about that.
I think what makes it really unique, too, is the recruiting fair that you guys have prior, because it is in person. These kids get to meet these coaches. Some of them that have already gotten recruited to these schools get to meet them in person. They don't have to travel to the campuses, whether that be the Midwest, the East Coast, wherever they may be, to go meet these coaches who are actively recruiting, put a face to it, and get a real conversation with those kids. The camp's next Saturday. Recruiting fair starts at 8:30, then the camp from 10 to 12. Another unique aspect of it, though, is the college coaches are actually coaching the camp. Because a lot of times you'll see these third-party camps and even camps that are hosted at colleges where you just have some random people coming in and running the drills. This is coached by the college coaches, and you guys are implementing, some things that you want to see, but also it's football work. Why was that important to you to structure the camp that way?
Yeah, I wanted the kids to see how they get coached. And so one of the things I think is often misunderstood by kids is, in recruiting, the relationship tends to be pretty loose, kind of fun, to be honest with you. Then you get there, those guys are going to coach you. When you go to our camp, the first thing I tell the recruits is they should be evaluating the college coaches. Yep. If that coach is standing around not doing anything, kind of being lazy, that tells you a little bit about something. But if they get there and they're able to give you a coaching point or help you get better in a drill or tell you why to do something, I think that the students can find out that, hey, you know what? This guy knows his stuff. He cares about my development, even in this situation, and that shows you the true character of a coach that's there. Mm-hmm. You also see their energy, right? This is 10 o'clock in the morning. This is not super early. Does that coach bring it knowing that they have this event? Or are they just like, well, it's 95 degrees and back in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, it's, 27 degrees and I'm too tired and hot right now. So I want them to evaluate those things. I also think that, college coaches want to see that comparative. It's, the times and stuff like that. I can go get a bunch of guys that can run 40-yard dashes. They might not be able to run a 7 route, right? So we want to make sure that they know those things and can see that. And just have a chance to get better while they're out there. So it's not just about being evaluated, it's about getting better. I told one of the dads the other day, he was asking me a question. I'm like, the cost of this camp is cheaper than the gas it would cost him to go to California to another camp. And so, or even going up to NAU, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. And so making it this opportunity where we bring it here, help the Arizona Football Coaches Association out, and I think we've done a pretty good job, and people know we're going to make sure the kids are getting opportunities.
So we sat here last year and I interviewed you at promoting the camp, same thing. But I asked you a question, and I've tried, you don't even know this. I've cut that up and showed it to so many different high schools here, and you were talking about grades. So thank you for that. You're, getting to use you all year long. But you were talking about grades, and even more so now as it's been 12 months since that interview, is you talk about the importance of grades and say, hey, if you don't have good grades, forget about playing at Lake Forest. You can't get into the school.
Correct.
You will not be admitted. Even more so now, not just at your guys' college, but across the board, D3s, D2s, D1s, NAIAs, grades are such an outlier right now. You know, you look at a player that's the same player who is a 2.5 compared, same type of film, same position, a kid's got a 3.5, you're taking the 3.5. It's not there's no question about it. Why are grades such a pivotal piece in recruiting to current day recruiting?
Well, that kid with a 3.5 versus 2.5 probably has about 400 other options in collegiate level. You know, I tell everybody, you know, this year we have 38 kids in our recruiting class. They have a 3.68 grade point average.
Wow.
As the average. So that's pretty darn good. And so when you look at the schools, every school has their academic requirements to get into school. They might get a little bit of flexibility with their athletes, but it's not a ton. And so if a guy is down there below a 2.5, they really limit themselves to about 20% of the colleges that are in the country that play football. If they get above a 3.5, they've now opened themselves up to about 80% of the schools in the country. And so, again, you're still going to have the Harvards and the Yales and Ivies up there that are above a 4.0. But if you're not above a 3.5, you really kind of cut yourself to the number of schools you can look at, really a 3.0. And the other thing we look at is if you're not disciplined and determined in the classroom, you're probably not going to be disciplined and determined on the football field. That is who you are. And so you can't just turn that on and off when it's fun or convenient or where you have a strength. You know, we really want to see guys who are going to put that effort in to make sure they're doing better on those things.
Jim Catanzaro, head football coach at Lake Forest College at campus next Saturday. There's still time to sign up. Brand new logo as well. Brand new logo. I can't wait for my Lake Forest sweatshirt that he's going to give me next week. So.
I don't think you'll want a sweatshirt in that 83-degree weather.
Hey,
Maybe we'll find
we got golf in the forest. I'm all for it. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate having me on.
Awesome job as we make our way back to the football field here for the second round of the Mesa Football Showcase. Mountain View out there currently as Devin Henry. I said last time you join us back in here. I know you were
back in here after being 2 foot away.
2 feet away, but same thing. I just love what we have out here.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, as we talked about earlier. It's a chance for these young men to not just get exposure, but also for some of these guys an opportunity for them to go out, get some extra reps with their teammate. As Coach Enders was talking about, it's going to be a 2-a-day. They're going to go back and they're going to practice in school too. And I've seen a handful of different players from different schools go and dap each other up, because a lot of the times these might be young men that you played youth football or peewee with. It might be young men who you went to grade school with, and then you go your separate ways in high school. And that's part of what makes the hometown rivalries so much fun, is the kids who you know. So an opportunity for them not just to come out and practice, come out, get exposure, come out, build chemistry, but come out, hey, see some guys you haven't seen in a while. Seems to see some guys maybe you built something with over a summer thing or over the season, guys who you respect, stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities for these young men to go out here, and it's more than just football.
Well, Brady Pond, who's going to be the district athletic director in about 4 weeks now as he steps into that role, current Westwood athletic director, he talked about that right away when we started, saying, hey, not just the coaches, but all these kids know each other. They all grow up in the same neighborhoods, and in North Mesa, just south of it, they play youth ball against each other. So the level of respect in this district, no, don't get me wrong, when Red Mountain plays Mountain View, they want to beat up on each other. When Mesa plays a Dobson, a Westwood, of course those teams want to beat each other, but the kids all know each other, and it's a great level of respect. Same with the coaches. And I think Brady also made a mention of the talent and level of high coaching they have here is up there. I mean, it is amazing. When you look at top to bottom, the head coaches, I don't know, from an entire district standpoint, many districts that are better overall. And the level of respect, the competitiveness, the true caring of athlete, not to say that all the other districts don't have that, but the level that they do have here is really, really special.
And you know that, for instance, Skyline wants that rematch with Dobson. They beat Dobson last year in the season opener, 36-18. Dobson wants to get back on the field and take on Skyline. Mountain View, they beat Mesa 46-7. Mesa wants to get back on the field and say, we're a different team. We want to show you what this looks like now. And, of course, Mountain View wants to get back and play Red Mountain. That was a 1-point game back on October 17th. So, like you said, these guys know each other, and they want to get back on the field against one another.
And I think it's good for the state. When you have in-district competition here within the state, it's good for Arizona high school football. We talk about that with some other stuff, but you don't get that with some of the other districts, right? Because a lot of the levels are different. You might have teams in Peoria School District that are 4A
Yeah.
They're never going to play Liberty and Centennial.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in today's realm. And here, you're really close with the 5A and 6A. And even with the 5A, 6A crossover games, you could still play that. You can have a Mesa still play a Skyline, a Dobson play a Westwood, and still make it a competitive thing. You don't get that with a lot of the different districts. Quinn Creek, Quinn Creek's not playing Chrisman. It's not happening, right? So situations like that, I think, are another reason why Mesa Public Schools is a special district.
And Atema picks up that pass there from Derek Carr. Eddie Valenzuela picked up a ball a little bit earlier, watching Mesa work their sevens here and half-field play as we wind down here in our final little moments here of the Mesa Public Schools Spring Football Showcase. All 6 Mesa Public Schools. And as you mentioned, Cody, it's nice that all these guys are, for the most part, around the 5A, 6A together. The smallest school is Skyline at 1,846 students, according to the AIA. And even then, though, Skyline is not in the same region as Dobson. In the 6A conference, they are kind of mixed between the East Valley and the Southern region. And so for them, they are often like, for instance, Mountain View and Mesa, they're playing at the start of the year because they're playing a cross-region event, whereas then Mountain View will take on Red Mountain in region. So they don't always get to see one another year after year because they're not even in the same region at times.
And the reason why they still play, though, is it's important to the district AD, very important to the district AD and the head coaches that those games remain. So like
Which
you
they
said,
should. It's community.
100%. It's a community game. It means something to the kids. It means something to the coaches. So when the 6A realigned last year and they tried to, make each region have the 1 team, a 2 team, a 3 team, a 4 team, and they ranked them, some of these teams got left out. Like Mesa went in, got detached from the quote-unquote Mesa region, Mesa Public School region with Red Mountain, Mountain View, Highlands part of that, Desert Ridge. And they said, no. Okay, that can happen. We're still playing each other in a non-region game because it's important for the district. It's important to have Mesa play Mountain View. It's really important. Plus, I think travel time, you're talking about a 5-minute travel. You don't have to go to Shadow Ridge, which is a California area code. You don't have to go to Valley Vista, right? Mesa, and I love that you brought up that game last year, Mesa versus Mountain View. Mm-hmm. Mesa came off a win against Shadow Ridge to start the year. Mountain View coming off a loss against Liberty. We talked about responding. Mountain View responded, and they shellacked Mesa High School. You don't think those kids at Mesa High School, all those returners, are itching to play that game again?
Or all the transfers on the sideline watching it happen.
Who never played that game. Of course they're excited. They can't wait. And when you come into Arizona high school football legacy and you hear about these crowds that old Mountain View had, that old Mesa had, that had regular season games having 5,000 to 10,000 people, 8,000 people, I want to see that. And I think we're close. Having Mesa and Mountain View play each other and both be very, very good, I want to see the stands that packed in. And that's another reason why, the those district games are important.
Mesa with the huddle up. Yeah, exactly. You can see the home bleachers right now here at Westwood and how massive they are. The road bleachers are absolutely massive here as well. You want to see those filled up when you have an inner city battle. And back in the old days, that's what it was all about. It still is because you grow up with these students who you go to elementary school with, who you play Pop Warner with. And then you go, okay, what's next? I want to be able to go and play them underneath Friday night lights on a big stage in front of a giant crowd. And back in the day when they would take those games to the local community colleges. Yep. We don't see that as much anymore, but the rivalries are still there. And on top of that, they're trying to build these games bigger again and say, let's fill the stands.
I don't know too many away stadium or away stands at any Arizona high school
that are this big
that has end zone to what is that, end zone to end zone?
That's end zone to end zone right there.
That's incredible.
That is 100 yards of bleachers, at least 20 rows deep?
I don't think, Red Mountain's got pretty big stands too. I don't think it goes end zone to end zone. Max might know actually more than us over there. End zone to end zone for
Max,
away
how
stands?
How big is the visitor grandstand over at Red Mountain? Is it as big as that? No, it's at least 3 times. At least 3 times smaller? No, bigger. Oh, bigger?
No, maybe their home stands are, not the away. Either way.
Yeah, away.
No, away. Yeah, we're gonna have to. You know what? We'll send Max on a road trip. I need photos of every away
he's
stands.
never at Red Mountain. That's a big trip for Max.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, God. Oh, God, happy times. I don't know. That's either way. I think when you look at numbers, have you been to a Mountain View? No. No, you've never been to a Mountain View home game.
Nope.
Oh, my goodness.
I think the only Mesa home game I've been to is Dobson so far.
Mountain View home games are amazing. Oh, I'm talking like full fireworks show. I'm 18 different vendors. Red Mountain is very similar, too. Very, very similar. That's what I want to see. I want to see that.
And that's part of the legacy that you grow, right? Mountain View is one of the most storied programs in the state.
It's good for high school football. I think we get lost sometimes of – and it's not, it's nobody's fault. It's like the social media era, right, where everybody's like itching for the college offers and all that, which is great. That's why we're out here right now. But to stay in tuned and just live a Friday night light, like the traditional Friday night lights, you get that in that district. And you get that at some of these home games, which you don't necessarily get. Like, I don't want to throw any other schools out of the bus, but when you have some of these schools that are so transfer heavy, right, there's not a lot of school pride because those kids did not grow up with those kids. They're not going to go support a kid that they don't know, right? These teams out here, a lot of them probably went to elementary school together with a lot of these guys. And so when you have that, that's how you end up having regular season home games that have 5,000 to 6,000 people.
And you talk about, on top of that, when obviously we're in the social media era, you're looking for college offers and scholarships and whatnot, and the ability to play at the next level is Quante Chandler there with a sweet grab, special teams player of the year last year for Skyline. When you look at how this world grows right now, you're trying the next best thing. You're trying to get that offer. You're trying, once you get that offer, to get in, and then you transfer portal. We work really closely with the National Football Foundation, Bill Riddle chapter here in the state of Arizona. We're going to have that Bill Riddle Classic here on CW7 with our Games of the Weeks this season. The past couple of years, we showed a clip from Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy, of course, is someone who was at the NFF academic awards banquet, and Brad Sesmat asked him, hey, if you could give any of these young men here advice, and it's advice that now I'm trying, okay, I need to re-include this back in my life. Again, it's be where your feet are planted.
Yep.
And so on Friday Night Lights, be here on this football field. At practice, be there at practice. As much as you want to prepare for Friday night, right? You got to be the best version of you Tuesday afternoon before you get there. So think about what you're doing today. Are you doing the best tackle drill? Are you doing the best sled push that you can in that moment? It's not always about gain rate for Friday, gain rate for college, trying to be that 0.00 whatever percent to make it to the NFL. It's about so much more than that. So on a Friday night, be there Friday night. On a Monday afternoon at practice, be there on that Monday afternoon at practice. That's where your brain and your heart should be in those moments.
Be present.
Yep.
Be present. And I mean,
be conscious.
No better role model to say that than Brock Purdy and his story, right? And then I just think a tremendous role model to learn from. But I think that's when you go back and look at these coaching staffs here, they do a great job of preaching, be the best every day. You know, work ethic every day. Kyle Enders, when he was talking to Jordan Spurgeon and Claudia Collins in the interview room, that's what he talked about. Hey, we're doing this right now, but we still got practice. And it's not forced upon by the coaching staff. Yeah, we have it scheduled, but the kids want to be out there. I think that's so cool to hear. Because I remember back in the day where it was like, that's what we look forward to. We looked forward to that because, especially by the time you got to senior year, because you really didn't think about college either. I mean, yeah, maybe some junior college stuff like that, but it was living in the moment. Once again, we're in an era where I think people lose sight of that. And it's not to say don't have your dreams and look forward to college football and stuff like that. But everybody, when you talk to like professional athletes, all the time when you talk to pros, what do they always refer back to? Some of their best times ever. High school football, high school athletics, the high school memories, the team camps, a showcase like this. So living in that moment and being the best version of you every day is huge.
And you might not realize it at the time, but this is the simplest version of football moving forward.
Yep.
It doesn't get less complex moving forward. This is the simplest, funnest, grounded version of the game that you're going to see the rest of your life.
Yes, 100%. And then having options like this where we've seen quite a few college coaches go up to these high school coaches, recruiting and some of them going to some of the kids and giving them offers. Talking about life-changing events right here, which is really, really special.
Dominic Corona with the takeaway there, watching Clayton Monagle with the Skyline Coyotes whipping it for a little bit right there. And Skyline, again, a team 3-7 1 year ago, wins against Dobson, South Mountain, and Trevor Brown. New coach, how do you get to the playoffs once again? Have not been to the playoffs since 2017. This is a team trying to build that foundation just like Dobson and find that state championship one day.
Yeah, a situation where I think Josh Roberts trying to really impact those younger classes, as many kids out as possible. Incoming freshman class 2030. The thing about Josh Roberts and his staff, they are really active in the community, really active. So try to get a strong freshman class in and help this thing grow.
And sometimes it's about buying. You look at all the different athletes who are multi-sport athletes, and I mean, some coaches call it poaching, but a lot of times it's not poaching when you go out to the volleyball team, when you go out to other parts. Hey, I want you to play a deeper role in athletics here at your school, and you try to go find those athletes, and then you have to sell them on playing football. Sell them on another day that you got to be at practice. Sell them on another long afternoon that you got to be out in the sun on top of whatever sports that they're playing. But that's also a pretty big role in trying to set up what your culture looks like as an athletics program as well.
And the coaches who have been here now for quite some time, Kyle Lenders, who's been at Red Mountain since he's 14, a student there. Andy Litton's been at Mountain View now for quite a few years. Those guys have established that. Hey, football kids want to go to those high schools to become high school football players, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna go downstairs. If I have the jersey number right, this is it. Eliav, I'm gonna try it. Hopefully, you are gonna try it as well. Don't ask him to say his name for you. Monta Afanua Stevenson is downstairs with Eliav. Goodbye.
Oh, that's not a bad try. He just told me to say Nua Stevenson.
Oh.
Yeah, a little nickname. Yeah, they were trying your name up there. Yeah. For those who don't know, how do you properly say your full name?
Mo Tuif Nua Stevenson. That's my full name.
All right, Devin, you got it real close, Devin. Sorry about that, buddy. No, but seriously, Noah, how has a day like today been, man?
It's been great with all the other D-line and O-line, and just dominating. So,
Okay. He said he's dominating. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, why did you feel like you dominated today?
Because I got a lot of wins and I felt great today. So.
And what are the conversations like with the coaches?
It's been great. A couple coaches. So, yeah.
And what are those conversations like? What are they asking? What are they talking to you about? Whatever you can tell us.
Like my class and my age and stuff.
And are there any tips that they're giving you or any compliments that they gave you today?
My strength and my size. Yeah.
How did you prepare for a day like today?
I rethink it over and over, and I practice a lot.
When you visualize, what are you visualizing?
I visualize what I'm going to do in the moment. So.
And how does that help you in that moment to be ready? How does that help?
It helps me know what I'm going to do. So if the O-line comes at me, I know what move I'm going to do.
And overall, when you've gone through this, I know you still got some time before you're committing and all that jazz. But as you've just gone into this process, what has it been like to just start to talk to coaches? Just get a rhythm for that.
It's been really great because I'm pretty new to this, so yeah. I never had this before. So,
what advice have you gotten from upperclassmen about this process?
Just be confident and tell them what you do and stuff.
Yeah. So if I'm a coach and I'm saying tell me about you as a player, what are you telling them?
I'm telling them I'm a hard worker and I'll do whatever I'm told to.
Yeah. And on the grade side of things, is it emphasized enough how important it is to y'all?
Yeah, it's about 3.0s and above. Get B's, at least B's all across, and yeah.
And with you and your guys, in the huddle, in between drills, how are you helping each other also?
We try to give each other tips, and we kind of critique each other, and yeah.
Now, when it comes to Mesa, what should we expect from Mesa this year?
We winning the Open, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wasn't joking about that confidence, baby. That's what I love to see. All right, Noah. Great job today, and good luck. All right, back to y'all in the booth.
All right, we are going to write it down. Mesa, the Open Division champions in 2026, Cody. That's the word we just got from downstairs.
Like we talked about, they're on that outside looking in, that tier of 5 to 12. So guess what? They're right there. Have a couple big wins, and that's why I think week 1, when you look at the Arizona high school football schedule, Devin, you have to have Mesa versus Liberty scheduled because that kind of tells you where Mesa is on a litmus test. Taking a Lions team that has either been the best or the runner-up best top 3 for quite some time now. And that's so much credit to Colin Thomas and stuff. If Mesa can go in and either win that game or be right there, why the heck not? If they can compete with Liberty, absolutely they deserve to be up there, and then who knows what happens.
And if you can showcase that, that sends a note to everybody else.
Yes.
We aren't just here with transfers at week 5. We're not just here going to go a couple rounds in the playoffs. We're here to go win an Open because we can hang with the best of the best.
And the thing that's funny is the team right across from them that's currently on the field, Mountain View, is
Yeah,
going
go
to do
through
everything in their power to make, because Mountain View's going right now and going, hey, we're not going to let that happen. But that Mesa team, especially under Ryan Felker, is going to be pretty darn good this year.
Final groups of 7s on the field right now. The Mountain View Tours alongside Braden Merwin, the 3.75 GPA for that soon-to-be junior. But we're going to head on down to the studio with Jordan Spurgeon and Claudia Collins, the head coach of the Jackrabbits, Ryan Felker.
All right, here we go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you sending it down to us. We've got head coach of the Mesa Jackrabbits here with us now. We were looking into your background a little bit. You're coming from Mesa Community College. What are you bringing from coaching at the next level to showcases like this where guys are looking to get recruited? I feel like you kind of have a leg up knowing how that goes.
Well, you have a lot of relationships you built over the years, whether it's with local high school coaches, I've crossed paths with everybody that I'm going to see on the field and have relationships with them. So it's always going to be a good, healthy, Friday night relationship, and then relationships with colleges and getting kids recruited. I was at the junior college level for 15 years, and being at Mesa, really helped me understand what kids need. I think a lot of kids with that mentorship and that relationship with their coaches, when they didn't get what they wanted or maybe needed more time to develop or improve academically, they landed on my lap, and I think that experience in dealing with kids who need you, and I think Mesa has a lot of the same kind of kids where, and knowing this community, having coached and taught in this community, I don't think people outside looking in understand what Mesa High School is, and I don't think they understand the community, because once you get on campus, once you get around the people, the tradition, the pride, the history, the community it's insane. It's amazing. So.
And now you're entering year 1 here. You're on campus now. You're getting to know these guys. I know that's a long process and it can be difficult at times. But how are you settling in so far here at Mesa High?
Oh, it's been great. The administration is great. The first thing I did was sit down and meet every kid individually, find out what makes them tick, what their goals are, what their dreams are. Talk about documentaries and music and whatever, just to let them know that, hey, I'm a real person and I'm here for you guys, and that, I'll be their third coach in 3 years. So, the first business that I had to take care of was showing them, not standing up in front of a podium. I told them, I said, there's no words that I can say to you right now to make you trust me. My actions will speak louder than my words, and because every coach says, hey, I'm not going anywhere, and that's a lot of us coaches always think that, hey, this could be the forever job, this could be the last one, but we all know in reality that that's not how football works. It's so dynamic, and there's always opportunities, and coaches outgrow places and places outgrow coaches, and I think it doesn't matter where you coach, the kids need you, and being able to go to Mesa and do what I love, it's been awesome. I walk out on that field every night, and just like, this is my sanctuary here. We're good. So, and the kids are unbelievable. So,
why was this the right fit for you, making this move?
Well, in 2018, Maricopa County Community Colleges eliminated football, and that kind of left me up in the air, you know. So I tried to recreate it at Campo Verde and pick up my Mesa program, move it over there, the Gila River Hawks, and the HJCAC, which we were able to get 49 kids full scholarships out of there in 2 years, which was awesome. And then I had an opportunity to go coach in Kansas at Garden City Community College for 3 seasons after that, because the head coach from Arizona Western, who also shut down, got the head job and called me and said, hey, come be my offensive coordinator. And so I went to Kansas and coached football for 3 years, had a blast. And then I spent the last couple years helping out as the offensive coordinator at Basha High School here. So, you know, you know, it's Arizona high school football. I've always loved it.
It's special.
Yeah. So
it really is.
I was an Arizona high school football player, and you know, I told the story when I got the job, when I was in the interview. My first experience at Mesa was in 1989. We came over and we scrimmaged them. Not only did we scrimmage them, we played them in week 1. And I was at Trevor Brown High School on the west side, and there was like 125 kids on their team. We had like 30, and then after the scrimmage, you know, all the boosters had rolled up in their trucks and they had barbecue grills and they were making us hot dogs and hamburgers, and we were eating pizza and homemade cookies and stuff. And then we get on the bus and we're like, we look at each other, we're like, oh, that was really cool. These people are rich. We thought they were rich, you know, but you know, it's just the history and then they actually won the state championship that year.
It's all those cookies.
Yeah, it was all the love and support from the community.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the one thing I really appreciate about Mesa. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think last thing before we get you out of here, I know you got to catch the buses and stuff. You know, getting to know these guys and going through the showcase. Who are some of the names on this team, the players on this team that people on the outside need to learn, like yesterday?
Well, I think arguably we have one of the top two-way players in the state, and Kingston Anatema.
Mm-hmm.
He's special on both sides of the ball. It's I haven't seen anything like that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and his brother, you know, we're waiting for him to get healthy. Derek Carr's done a good job this spring, taking the snaps at quarterback as well. And Joe Haney, he's playing defensive end and tight end. A great team leader. He's really starting his recruiting. He's really picking up. You know, he's getting a lot of D1 attention, and you know, there's guys. The whole defense. I mean, the linebacking crew's great. The D line's insane good. Sione Taule, he is one of our defensive ends. You know, I know USC, Notre Dame, all them, they're coming in to see him, and he's almost 6'6", and
Same.
yeah, on my shoulders, we still might not make that, but no, that it's hard. You know, Cam Williams at safety, he's great. You know, Taj Mosby and Nalu Skips at linebacker are great players. I really like some of our old linemen. You know, Angel Gonzalez is a good one. I think the guy to really watch, though, is Rio Arnett, our running back. I think he was probably the second leading rusher in 6A last year, and he's returning, and he's just a machine. I mean, he's a great kid. You know, comes from a good family. He's all work, and he might be one of the toughest kids that I've been around. So he's a good one.
Well, awesome, Coach. We appreciate it. Thank you so
Sorry
much
if I
for
left
taking the
anyone
time.
out.
No, of course. Hey, you touched on everybody you could.
I know I did.
Absolutely, and
so
that's all right.
I'm
People
forgetting
understand.
a few. I'm forgetting a few. So there's just so many good kids on this team, you know, and I think we'll have a good year. We'll have fun with it. But
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, and we'll put this back.
Yep, we're getting to know you, Coach. We appreciate it. Eliav Gabai, I know he's on the sideline standing by. So what do you got, Eliav?
Hey, thanks, Spurge. I'm here with Evan, Aaron, and CJ of Skyline. Fellas, it's all wrapped up, and now it's quiet behind us, but we can go right down the line. What was the day like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing getting out here and experiencing everything, just talking to coaches and everything. Yes, sir.
And what have those conversations been like?
They're just great. You know, it's great to get that exposure out there. It's great to talk to coaches. You want to do it early. You want to get verbal offers, things like that. Just you want to talk to coaches, get that exposure, and be ready for your future.
And how do you balance, you know, wanting to perform great on today, but not putting too much weight on it as well?
You just got to understand. You just got to do your work. You just got to put in the effort, and things will come to you. You just got to keep your head down and keep working, and don't put too much pressure on yourself.
And how do you prepare for a day like today?
I mean, we've been working just like as a team, getting ready for everything and just getting our work in, yeah.
Yeah. And between y'all and on the sideline here, in between drills, what are those conversations like?
It's just stay locked in, you know, like it's always, we're a team, we're a family, we got to stay together, and the closer we are, the better we'll be. You know what I mean?
And then I'm going to go back to you about the balance, right? Because these are your teammates, you know, you love these guys, but you also got to have that competition. How do you balance that, you know, when there are the college coaches here watching, of course?
You just got to breed competition, and you just got to stay locked in with your teammates. Definitely helping out with technique and stuff too always is great for your team, and it builds those relationships and bonds closer to you.
And when it comes to the conversations with the coaches, do you have questions for them too when it's in the discussions happening? Because I know they're going to have questions for you, of course.
I feel like most of the time I don't, but like every once in a while, yeah. But they mainly lead the conversation, yes, sir.
Yeah. And what have you found, I guess, that stands out to you about coaches that are special, that make you want to commit to them?
It's just showing that they care, like always being on someone, always doing that. It's just showing that love to your team to help breed that competition and breed that family that we want to grow within each other to build that bond, become a better team.
And how do you think what you learned at Skyline can serve you in the future? What are some of those lessons?
Definitely hard work and discipline. Since we have a smaller team, you definitely have to put in more work, and it will definitely help you out in the long run.
All right, fellas, so what can we expect from Skyline this year? I'm going to go down the line. Come on now.
Oh, no, we're going to do some crazy stuff. People are not going to expect what we do.
Okay, what are we doing?
It's going to be dedication. You're not going to expect it out of us, but we're coming.
Okay, all right.
Yep, we definitely shocking the world and in all sports, especially football.
Look at that. You love that energy here. All right, fellas, thank you so much. Great job. Congratulations. All right, and go get some grub. I know you earned it, all right? Thank you, guys. Back to you.
Ooh, some grub. I think I could use some grub, too. I could use a little... Eliab, where are they? No, I'm kidding. Appreciate Eliab and all of his work down the sideline. We're going to say goodbye from the booth, but we'll have more coming from the studio with Claudia and Jordan. But Cody... Or excuse me, never mind, not from the studio. So we'll wrap things up here. But Cody, your final thoughts here on what's really a great opportunity for these young men to come out here, get some influence, get some perspective, get some exposure, and get ready for 2026.
Another amazing event, spotlighting all the great student athletes at Mesa Public Schools. It was awesome to be up here with you, Devin, and you are correct. Great opportunity to get looked at, and it is our great opportunity to go eat. So, awesome time out here today.
Cody's recommending lunch. We're going to trust him on this one, and we're going to figure some stuff out. But hope you guys had a great time here at Westwood High School. It was great having all 6 schools from the Mesa Public Schools out and getting ready for 2026. Of course, we will see probably some of them. And be sure to check out CW7 Arizona for our games of the week, including the Bill Riddle Classic coming up next. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time here for Sports 360 AZ Relay Art, Jordan Spurgeon, Claudia Collins, Eliab Goodbye, Cody Cameron. I am Devin Henry. We'll see you next time, everyone.